allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good morning. It is June 25th, 2024. Our regular session convenes. Board minutes for June 18th, 2024.
I couldn't find it. You could find it.
Am I crazy? I made corrections to them and I have those for you today too.
Yeah, I looked them up, so I guess
I sent you
You
everything
read
back.
them? Then you read them?
I didn't have them.
Oh, you didn't.
No.
You didn't.
I sent you everything but those.
I should have said something to you
I'm sorry.
because I'm going. Okay, because we didn't get our minutes, I was looking for them. I thought maybe the other two commissioners did, they didn't. We will set aside the board minutes. And when we get a chance between agenda items, look over the minutes and approve them later on today. With that, we'll go right into correspondence. Okay.
Now you're taking time cards back in there?
I haven't signed
Will
them.
you,
Oh, you did.
yeah. And then I told employees
Oh,
if they had changes this week that I would keep them in here and so they could make them and let you guys know before I took them
Okay,
in.
so the first one is from Headwaters. And it is on behalf of the Headwaters RC and D board directors in our state of Montana Certified Regional Development. They are sending us a letter in appreciation of Grant past support. Also, it is an invoice is included for Grant County 24-25 dues for Headwaters RCD, which is 1,720 and 16 cents. I don't know if that invoice is with.
It's not yet. She said she wanted to wait to hear from you guys reviewing your correspondence before I gave it to them.
Give that to. Okay. The next one is from Debbie Robinson, who is our nurse, and this is a letter addressed to Rachel Johnson. And she is notifying Rachel that the consulting agreement will end June 30th, 2024. And as Debbie is a full-time health nurse, that she and her assistant will be able to for the next correspondence is an email from Mako, and it is the estimated fiscal 25 annual fuel tax allocation. And if it wasn't so teeny.
139 or something like that.
Yeah, I was thinking that too. I was just gonna read the correct amount. Cause it wasn't teeny on the email.
Oh, I have it. One,
So. 139,668 for fiscal year 25. The next correspondence is from FERC. And it is the 2024 dam safety inspection follow-up, Flint Creek Hydroelectric Project. And that's it for correspondence. So I guess this one from Scott Dunkerson, the sheriff, is he won't be available for our agenda item with Anna Bergerson. Okay, that's it for correspondence. Okay, our next agenda item is public comment on matters within the commissioner's jurisdiction. Is there any public comment?
Morning.
On matters within the commissioner's jurisdiction?
You got one.
Go ahead, Elena.
Thank you, Elena Gagliano, for the record. I just want to say that there's a lot of background sound being picked up, papers rustling or stuff like that. I just want to say, so it's kind of hard hearing you, Blanche. To go back to the minutes, I think you said something that you're going to read it and maybe approve it sometime today. Why don't you just table it until next week and approve the minutes from last week, since the commissioners didn't have it. The other thing, as far as correspondence is concerned, the Headwaters, wasn't that an invoice for $1,720 and change? It looks like it says it's an invoice from Headwaters. And don't they want you to approve that?
We're still looking at it. Commissioner Hinkle's reading it over right now.
That would be
We're
a,
gonna probably table. it.
yeah, agenda, it would be an agenda item later on.
Well, this is an
anyway.
annual
Yeah,
agreement that we have with RC&D. It's a normal agreement. I did mention that there was an invoice attached to it.
Mhm.
And that's right, and you have to discuss it and you have to agree to do it. And that's why that should be on the agenda to discuss it. That's the only point I'm making. Thank you.
Thank you, Elena. So according on the minutes, what do you guys want to do? Do you want to table them?
I think you're the chair, you can call it
Yeah.
any way you want to.
yeah,
Okay. So I think there's gonna be time between agenda items to be able to read the minutes. We'll do this. And if there's anything that we need to change, we will address that.
And we have them in front of us and we're going over them.
Yeah.
I never sent them to them.
while we're waiting for anybody to have a public comment within the commissioner's jurisdiction, we will be looking at the minutes.
How's it going, Amelia?
So are you
You mentioned
agreeing
email.
with the Headwaters invoice?
I saw that I had it,
Okay,
but I
all right, I'll get it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So on the Headwaters invoice in the correspondence, if you would please put that on the agenda next week
We're,
for us to
Good, how are you?
the reason,
approve the invoice, the
Yeah.
annual.
excuse me, Chuck, but the reason why we was waiting, I was still reading it, and we haven't had it back, so Chuck didn't see it when she got on.
Public comment time.
Now
now.
it's
Yeah,
way
public
more.
comment.
No,
Okay, all right.
I'm here checking on Rock Creek Road.
Oh, yeah.
Well, as far as rustling paper, the microphone is on the separate desk, so I don't know why.
Well, I'm sure it's a construction, they were just cutting some of that,
Oh,
that's what,
okay.
That's gonna be going on for several months, but we got to deal with it.
We're in public comment if you need to make a comment.
I just came to catch up on the road maintenance.
auction back.
Go ahead, Elena.
Thank you again, Elena Gagliano. For the record, since you made additional comments to my comments, first of all, on the approval of the minutes, you said you approved it. The whole point of an agenda with the times are so the public has an idea of when you're scheduling the items. If you just don't want to, if it's your discretion, you can do whatever you want. Why bother with an agenda? Just say you're meeting at 9 o'clock and whatever happens, happens. The second comment about the sound, it's worse since some days it's worse because the mic picks up the sound of whoever's doing something. And sometimes it's not bad, sometimes it's worse. But there is a way to alleviate that, and I brought that up on how to conduct Zoom meetings properly. So that's for the record, and just because you commented to my comments. Thank you.
Go ahead, Blaine.
One thing, when you look at like Powell County's agenda, they don't even put times on them. So, I mean, the times I like them because you generally stick to them, but also we have that language on there that be flexible, you know, the times given on the agenda are approximate times meant for guidance to the public, but remain flexible. So I encourage you to put the times on it because I think it helps the public, but if you guys are, if the commission is like doing some just ministerial stuff, you know, and you want to move on, that's fine. Or like you're saying, table something till the end of the meeting, that could be done too.
Okay, thank you, Blaine. Got a minute left for public comment. Did you ever get the public comment received from Elena stating that she would send correspondence
I did not ever receive a letter or email last week.
outlining her comments due to technical difficulties?
No. I didn't.
Okay, it is 9:20 and our next agenda item is weekly report with Road and Bridge Superintendent Paul Holmes.
We're just waiting.
Like you've been in the dirt.
Well, yeah.
He's been wearing those for a month.
I fell down out there. I tripped Anyway, we're down at, we'll finish up in Lower Rock Creek today. We hope, if not, it'll be a little bit, but maybe a little bit tomorrow yet. Then we would be starting pulling up on the bus run. And the other one's down south, the frontage road south of the interstate. And we'll be getting moved down to Henderson Creek today.
You're gonna be able to get a Rock Creek, upper Rock Creek?
That's what I'm talking, that bus run there, we'll be starting on that, either for sure sometime tomorrow. Pretty sure that might be late.
Yeah.
You just sit there and relax. Yeah, for the record.
We're all good.
But anyway, that's where we're at, and then, I got an email today that those signs are down, them pedestrian crossing signs that we're gonna put up at the lake, so we'll get them up before the 4th.
Okay.
We did pound the steel post in there yesterday for them electronic signs. We got that done, so if these don't get all shot to hell or something, then we'll order them in a while, like we decided last week.
Sounds good. You ever talk to Blackfoot about cleaning the ditch?
I did, and their contractor's supposed to come and do it, because they're going up beyond that. And it's a simple deal, that if they're gonna do it or we're gonna do it, and they're gonna pay us. But he told me that their contractor's gonna come and do it. We have the same thing out on the Middle Fork too.
Did they get all their encroachment permits in place for Lower Valley or?
Everything, I've still got a few left,
Okay,
yeah.
Lots of calls on that.
like
Like
people
going up
mad?
Maxville, yeah. it's one of the worst spots. I mean, they're rolling out rocks this big and, but he said he'll work with, I talked to him Friday quite a bit, Jason from Blackwood, and he's gonna be in touch with Paul. And he'll make sure the roads are put back the way they might have to bring in some asphalt to cover, because I mean, it's,
They're gonna have to bring some asphalt.
we've both been looking at it up there. It's so narrow and they got a D8 dozer up there.
Where's that?
Going up Maxwell.
Are they giving good notice of the, like signage and stuff that there's work going on?
Oh, hell
Okay, good.
yeah. Yeah.
There was
yeah.
sometimes they're occasionally they weren't, so that's
They're
good.
really nice, well, I
Yeah.
mean, they're polite and that. Jason, he's there every day, or his other guys.
Okay.
I don't know, I think they're doing fine. It's just
Yeah,
gonna be,
just,
they're gonna have a lot of fixing to do. There ain't no way.
they're
you
gonna roll
can-
some of them rocks out, and it's gonna take some pavement with it, and there's just no two ways about it.
Hmm.
And it's just, it's gonna be on their dime, I mean, no matter what. That's, we made that agreement since the word go,
Yeah,
that our roads had to be put back, and that this stuff also had to be shoot, target depth of 42 inches. So they're doing all they can do, I guess. Put it that way. Other than that, we've got a few more days of dirt patching down Rock Creek, and then we'll move them to Georgetown Lake, try to get that road finished. Don't want, we have Maxville needs some dirt patching to do, but there's no need doing that while they're, all the equipment's in there, so hold them back
They're doing a good
on
job.
that. This takes time.
having that broadband internet is gonna be a good thing. Just work getting there.
You know,
I want it now.
I have it.
Does
You
the,
have it?
does the courthouse have it? No.
I don't think they have it
I
in
don't think
town yet.
anybody in town has it.
That'd
You
be
guys
nice
have
as
it, don't you? Yeah, we have it out on Rock Creek
You
already.
guys got it.
oh, they get everything they want.
Yeah,
They get the
Bad thing was, we dug into it the other day and cut off a majority of our spot. We didn't have it marked and just dug right into it, and it was like, everyone's like, why is Wi-Fi down? I'm like, oh no.
Not a pretty good idea.
Yeah.
Right now on that computer this week.
That's what I was gonna say next. So they called from North Carolina, and he's super confident he can fix that computer for that trunk. So, and it's actually should be, we should get it back next week
And that's for what?
for that water truck.
Oh,
That one that we couldn't find nobody.
So, any luck, maybe we'll have that up and running next week.
That top of Cave Gulch, they got Andy Weaver blading it.
Do it.
BLM does. He's
Good.
going all the way down that other side. So.
He's been working for Kathy up there anyway, maybe Ellen.
I was with the Garnett days and that he was up there blading it. So.
yeah.
That's it.
Okay, is there any public comment concerning our weekly report with road and
Just want
bridge?
to say thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Do we have anything on solid waste? Is there-
You're a good man. Thank you.
Solid waste?
Have a good day.
We'll see you
We'll see you
later.
later.
All right,
You ever need
Anything
anything,
on
I'll give you a
solid
call.
waste?
Oh, yeah, one quick thing on solid waste is we're talking about turning the time back from 10 to 6. And if that's what we want to do, we told the first applicant that we might go back to that like it was.
We need to make a motion on that, so it's on the.
well, I
can advertise it.
if I may make a comment, I think it should be streamlined, both sites should be the same time. The one reason that the one site was earlier was the fact that there wasn't lights, and then the lights were put in and they kept the time the same.
Uniformities generally, yeah,
This-
good
this-
idea, yeah.
Truly is a more convenient time for the public. When you look at it.
Give them another hour.
I'd make a motion to go back and then advertise it so everybody knows, and maybe put a sign up on the one out here that they know that.
Is Drummond 10 to 6?
Yes. In a second, yeah.
That's it.
Any public comment?
And that way they didn't advertise, put some stuff out on the website.
How long do you want in the paper? 2 weeks? Or a week?
Big
I don't
sis-
even think I put it in the paper. Because there's a big sign right on the building, we'll just change it.
Have it on the website?
Okay.
I don't
Save
think-
some,
I think it should be in the
save
paper.
some money to.
It
You
should
want
be
it
in the paper. for one
Yeah,
week.
put it in the paper.
One
Just,
That way somebody don't get.
For both sites, saying both Drummond and
Yeah.
Phillipsburg, Tennessee.
okay,
Just be a reminder, somebody new, and that way they know that that is gonna be the hour.
Today we. And I got 2 today.
That's a 1:30
Am
building.
I?
First one's at 1, second one at 1:30. I need you from 1 to like 2:30, and then you guys should have your decision. about
Text me
that.
like at 12:30, say, hey.
I can. I will if you need me to.
You just help your grandma.
I don't.
Other than that, that was a solid comment.
Thank you, Paul.
Alright,
Have a good one.
yep, see you at 1.
Clean up, please.
Nope.
Use your time wisely.
Yeah, I will.
Between now and 1.
Look for trip hazards. See you later.
See
Okay,
ya.
bye. Okay, with that, it is 9:30 and we're going into the Dan Kenders report. The level of the lake is 6429.31, effective at 5:15 this morning. That's 2.28 inches below full flow.
Same as last week. So 30 coming in.
And then there's the report from the Georgetown Lake Update report with Light.
Yeah, he has have the same inflow percentages that one would fill, but
Oh, I should have given it. to you.
that's 53% of normal on the, I think the precipitation too is his model, right?
Yeah,
So he's, but I think it's saying that the prediction is also average precipitation, so.
There's still snow up there, is there?
yeah, I think,
Yeah,
I think it should stay the same for another week.
And the banks are like what?
If we get some moisture, if 30's coming in and 30's going out, if we get some moisture, maybe we can get a little closer to full.
Thursday's forecasting.
But if it pours down rain, then we can go over.
So 30 is coming in,
Has to be, we're
Yeah.
staying the same, pretty much.
so it must be in.
Yeah,
So that's my
Is there a
motion.
motion?
To watch it after it rains like crazy, maybe we have,
Plus, they're gonna start haying, so they're not gonna need the water right away, and that maybe help them once they get the first cut up. Start soaking it up again.
Okay, so the motion is 30, is there a second? Is there any public comment? Things done, all in favor?
This is Brad Learman. I wouldn't
Go
mind
ahead, Brad.
asking a question or two.
Go ahead.
Okay, so yeah, the report, as you noticed, yeah, it shows it's not the pool's not gonna fill given precipitation, expected precipitation. So obviously we'll see. Hopefully we get a bunch here in the next couple weeks, but I don't know. It's kind of looking like probably not, but yeah, so that's unfortunate, but we'll see how it goes. I did have a question for you guys. I was wondering if you guys the gauge at Southern Cross keeps going up a little bit and up a little bit, and I just want to make sure, is it still set at 30 at the dam, or is it set at something else for outflows, or is it set higher?
well, for sure it's at 30.
At 30.
what's the USGS showing right now?
I think it's showing 29, and before we were at 26, and you guys thought it was 30 CFS outflows.
So,
I think it fluctuates there a little bit. Remember, we've talked about this year after year. There's a little movement there for some reason, but it seems to be
Is it-
standard with the rest.
Go ahead.
I know there were issues with the gauges, and the USGS is aware, and, I had talked to Paul Talon, the operator at the hydro plant. And I talked to him after Pat Verlanick was in here, was that 2 weeks ago? Who had said it
Mhm.
looked like only 26 was coming out. And they have not repaired those gauges yet.
Right.
So
Yeah, I
I,
see you can tell in the graphs usually when they do their calibrations, they'll usually put it on there and I haven't seen them do it. So I think you're right. I don't think they've done it.
yeah,
It's just interesting because it keeps going up, but you guys thought you were at 30 for outflows from the dam when it was at like 26 earlier. So I just noticed that. I was just wondering.
Yeah, Paul's pretty adamant, it's just a gauge issue. But
Oh, yeah, right. I know. A gauge has been off, and so yeah, that's good, Billy. You're talking to him. I can try to get a hold of him too and see what's going
Yeah.
on. But
So if the gauges are off, does that mean there could be more coming out or less? Less?
yeah, less.
I don't know. He should, they said it in the plant, right? So he should have. the
Their,
same
their
reading
plant is
there.
right, and they're gonna know what's going through their plant. But it's good to have the notice to the world being correct too, so hopefully they get on it.
Notice to the world.
and this happened a couple years ago. I mean, it's been happening for a couple of years. You guys know that, and I tried to get USGS to get it dialed in with the dam, and I don't know. They just had to agree to disagree. So it'll be interesting to see what they see this summer. I was hoping you guys cleaning the weir out was going to help, but I guess we'll see what they see. So.
Okay, thanks, Brad.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Have a good day.
Yeah, you too.
Okay. Is there any other public comment on the dam tenders report? We have a few minutes before the next agenda item. We can continue reading the minutes if you haven't finished them.
Did we vote?
Hmm?
Did we vote on the?
There was a second, and I said all in favor, and that's when I asked for comment. Okay, all in favor? Aye, okay. Public comment?
I thought.
I thought we did, but maybe we didn't. But we did now. Gosh darn, can't make these mistakes. So we have 10 minutes before our next agenda item.
What's the 11:15 one? What's your 11:15 agenda item?
What do you think it is?
Some guy coming in with a T-Mobile.
Oh, yeah, I don't know.
Like-
They've reached out and asked to be put on the agenda,
Oh.
and that was, the title was the information they gave me.
So we do Verizon right now, correct?
Yes.
The guy at sorry, the guy that rents Jason from Paul
Oh, yeah.
Arena. He was wanting to know if it'd be okay if he bought some posts and put up some rail fence around there to make it look better. We talked about fencing that a few years ago, but he said he'd buy it all and then if maybe the county could push it in. But that's the rental and haul, they cut down all them trees, they had like, ooh, good job, you got it really looking nice. That's nice, and he said he'd buy all the stuff if, we would just push the posts in and they're there.
It's an improvement.
I
It's
don't-
not a significant deal that you need on the agenda, I don't think.
Okay, I
It's
guess
just-
he
yeah,
just wanted to get the permission. He
Yeah.
asked me and I said I'd bring it up, so.
yeah,
I
you
don't,
guys
I
just-
don't see, this makes it better.
Okay,
They,
go ahead.
Sarah was in here yesterday and had an additional request to that I said I would bring up to you guys today. They would like to get one of those kind of horse shelter things and bring up 2 horses for search and rescue to keep there, which I guess is allowed by Hall's city ordinances. So I said I would bring that up to you guys, but I wasn't
Where they want to keep the
Quite sure.
horses,
there.
there's not really room for 2 horses in that yard.
Well, Hall is not an incorporated town, so there's no town ordinances.
Ordinances.
But on the thing, remember, we said no pets.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and the
I was
rental
thinking the
agreement.
same thing.
I don't know about it. I know it's tough to find places to put the horses now, but I just don't think that'd be, that yard, they got it looking nice, you get a couple horses in there, it's gonna look like a desk. I just don't.
Yeah, if it stinks, the neighbors next to
The
it
road
may not like it.
Yeah.
There's
Well, what
a
was
few
you thinking
houses.
about putting them in the yard?
I think it would have to be somewhere on
Because-
there, cause that's the
Yeah.
property
Other than
line.
that, it would be on.
The road shop,
property.
yeah.
The shop property.
Yep. Yeah, I told her I would bring it up to you guys, but I would think it would be something you guys would have wanted to
think so.
discuss directly with them.
There's a good reason why you didn't want pets and animals there.
Especially horses.
Yeah.
No, horses are nice.
I just,
I can let them know on the horses.
and maybe they are search and rescue horses, kind of the same way they got the dog in, but I don't think it'd be really have horses in the yard.
I got
Search
it.
and rescue
I-
horses.
That's what she said.
I know. Do they have a search and rescue dog there?
One of the guys passed it.
Huh?
We passed it, it's gone.
Yeah, it's a drug dog.
I think it's a residential neighborhood. I don't think it's right to have horses in there myself. I don't think it's been a good neighbor.
They can put up a fence, but I don't want them thinking that just because they say we put up a fence, they can put a horse in,
Yeah.
2 horses there.
Yeah. Yes on the fence, no on the horses.
We'll let them know.
No.
Try trying to find pasture around there, you know, it's tough. They should talk to the fire department down the road there, volunteer, they got.
Oh, yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah,
That'd be a lot
That's a really
better
good
there,
idea.
'cause they always want somebody to mow it.
yeah, free mowing.
Now,
Fertilizer.
get a hold of Sean O'Connor and see if it's all fenced in.
Good idea.
That is a
Is there a
good
gate
idea.
gate on that too?
Got a cattle guard,
Yeah, Calgary.
they could put a hot wire across it
Yeah.
just to keep them.
That's a
How
good
many
idea.
acres?
Hmm?
How many acres?
I'll bet you that one's probably 3. 2 or 3, cause I think I seen what they're rerunning the line, so maybe Mary sold them a little bit more too. And then Mary's got that between there and there, but she might let them put them in there too. I just, right there in home by the shops, it's not the deal.
I agree.
There's an option right there, maybe let her know, but today, so
Yeah.
if somebody else hears me saying it, then they don't run out there and
Call.
throw a horse in.
I think it'd be different if it was way out by itself or whatever, but right on, yeah, right there by their house.
And then they got that mag and everything
Yeah.
there, you can see where it kind of cleans that, they go, yeah, I guess pretty.
I was gonna sneeze.
Yeah, it's allergy season.
Yeah.
Do you want to look at claims or?
Someone's a.
should we approve the minutes? I read the minutes.
I'm not done yet. I'll still be here.
No. I'm gonna go. I'll be back at 10:20 unless you need me for something.
You may go.
Sounds good. We'd have to ask from the judge. May be dismissed. In bed.
Wayne?
Yeah.
Let them know.
Hey, we've got a minute before our next agenda item, and I have looked over the minutes and you've looked over the minutes.
Yep.
You've read the minutes.
I move.
There isn't anybody contesting this in the audience or on Zoom of us having this on a different time frame. Is there a motion?
Yeah, make a motion to accept the minutes.
I second it.
Okay. All in favor? Oh, excuse me, public comment? All in favor?
All right.
Motion carried and passed. Okay, our next agenda item is monthly claims review and approval. In the beginning,
Can we run over there?
if you want. You have one of these in your. This one. Okay, you got
You handed- I thought you gave me 3 pieces of paper. I thought you did.
Hey Chuck, you wanna sign this? Sure, come with me.
Thanks.
You want these to start?
Did we ever find out who's running the volunteers for the ambulance? Since,
Nobody responded to me.
But
I
I see
will
them
send
going
you a
yesterday,
request.
that bill for the ambulance was running yesterday, but I don't know who's.
yeah, went by our place last Thursday.
Yeah.
But, you know, I don't know who's in charge since Robert's gone.
I'll send another follow-up.
I guess we could maybe get hold of the sheriff and see how calls are coming in, if they're going out okay.
I think that
Dispatch.
calls and that, they've been going pretty good. I've seen a couple times, but Phillipsburg one, I don't know, like you said, I don't know who's running it, but whether they must have enough or a few people. The one time Monica was gonna come up and help and she got halfway and then they called her off. They found somebody else. So I mean, at least everybody seems to, they're all working
Yeah,
together and
they're-
coast to coast and helping. So Coast to Coast said they went on 3 calls last week, I think he said. I think they're kind of all,
working as a collective unit.
mhm. What's in the election audit? Somebody. can-
They have to test for the machines. They hand count them. Two races in 2 precincts. They do it by hand to test to make sure that the machine is correct. I know. Yeah. So usually they have who'd she have on there? I think she had Elena. And someone else. I don't know if you've ever been on the audit. We used to put Bart on it all the time.
I think that was one, I think I've been on. No,
And,
that was
and
on-
what they do is they hand count it and they do the 5/ whatever those things are called to make sure that
I
the
don't think
machines
I
are
was.
correct.
I don't think I. Yeah, like there's another $240 on safety cones are stole, 4 sets.
Yeah. I'm curious why the price was higher than.
Oh, yeah, I've seen, I just got to that
The
other.
mileage. We'll look at it.
No,
So it looks like the P-Bird dump septic and water systems all in. $16,000.
The what?
The Phillipsburg dump, we got water and the septic, so now all they have to do is
Oh, okay.
build now. Call and make sure. So, sure.
Where are we taking that out of? Is that part of
Solid
the?
waste,
we're
or
gonna take it out of-
county building, I thought, because it's gonna be a county building. Or a county.
yeah, how much did we put aside for that?
What's that?
How much did we put aside for that?
We
building?
did, out of a special fund, didn't we?
I thought you
Got,
did.
got all the water and septic and everything in.
Let me,
I know we did something.
Yeah, it wasn't to come out of solid waste.
Okay, we're just going over plans.
let me-
Do you remember, Billy?
I'm trying to look it up because I thought you
Oh,
were
okay.
bringing it up out of something, and I feel like it was. Westview.
That, yeah, it's all done. You're just waiting for the pump guy to come put the pump and then the other part of the power. But the septic and the water system's already done. I thought we took out of, oh, I have to look. We did set aside for.
Have you got your little search engine perfected?
I've gotten a lot better. Sometimes I still kick myself out and have to start over, but I'm getting more familiar.
What is that William Coutu, PhD, pre-employment fellow?
Is that our background checks?
Who is it? What's he do?
Employment evaluation. Oh, that is for sheriff's office.
Oh,
So I don't know what, but theirs is probably much more extensive than what we do in here. The ones in here I think are like $30.
So he has his own evaluation thing or what?
I think there's certain stuff they have to go through in order to get their certification as deputies, sheriff's office deputies. I don't know the details of that process though.
when you get to that woodland one, Chuck. When you get to that woodland.
Thank you.
What's it taking on?
Three different things. Just one of those, it's kind of.
Oh, okay, so Woodland has out of road, batteries and paint, epoxy, pipe tape, bits, paint, primer.
I know there's,
some bit paint.
I'm just curious what these stuff was.
I know some of the bits and stuff were when the two Davids came up here, they had to go get some bits that Janine
Who
didn't.
did?
The two Davids, I had sent them down there, they had to get some bits to take apart some of those desks to be able to move them that Janine
Oh.
didn't have. So I know there were twice they had to run down to the hardware store to get a couple things to take stuff apart when moving things. If that helps at all.
Yeah,
Okay. When they were taking apart stuff for the county building,
Yes.
then it shouldn't be coming out of road.
I think that's why I wanted to look, because it says sheriff, road and courthouse supplies.
Okay, so what are the Deming bits? Is that the bits?
That would be the county building, yeah.
This is what I was just kind of curious, because I didn't know.
Okay. Yeah, the Deming bits, they took it out of road and it should actually come out of county building.
Yep.
What's the paint primer?
I don't
That's a
remember.
mason bit.
That's a cement bit.
Okay.
I'll make sure that they get. That's why I just wanted to look at, see what it was.
So where is that mason bit?
I don't know, people who has it, until I see what,
Who signed for it?
it should be in Woodlands.
They took that out of road too.
Okay, so maybe they got one for themselves. I just want to look and see, that's all I was,
Yeah, so we need pull the Woodland one.
that's what he gets done now.
That wouldn't be one of the last ones.
Wonder why the hours are different on this one to the other one.
4.5 election audit times $10.30, 4.5 hours.
Yeah, no, but it's different than the other one.
Okay. So, different, okay. What's the other one? Okay,
The other ones,
I know,
Anyway,
okay, I'll look at it. Oh, oh, oh.
and like on the ARPA cash one for 33, what's that one? 3,354, 2,994.
Is that one of the elevator?
That's your ARPA, is that your ARPA fund?
It
Yeah,
says ARPA, does it say what it's for?
huh,
What do you want to say? Done. I'll go ask.
That's the one that Drummond got. There.
Yeah, pretty nice.
They're still, whoops, I don't know what I did, anyway, they're still waiting to get it, stopped.
Hmm.
Pretty nice looking, ain't it?
Yeah.
Big one, I mean, and then they can put, it's actually got rollers to put in the, wood, yeah. I'm not sure. That's it, one in Drummond. It'll be out on the, I think, probably tomorrow. They're waiting to get it stocked.
Okay.
So they did the audit for 2 days.
You guys talk about the bathroom project being part of the wish list items for road bridge solid waste from the LATCF fund.
They have to do 2 races, so it took
Yeah.
twice as long as
Yeah.
normal.
When you guys made
Back to
the,
bathroom.
when you guys did the wish lists for all departments and gave them all
Yeah, I
money
think that's what-
out of the
And one
LATCF
person
money?
show up,
Yeah,
so-
one of them funds.
It was the LATCF money and you talked about when you start talking about the bathroom projects for solid waste, you start talking
Yeah.
about giving everybody wish list money and you say that would be a good item for the wish list, the bathroom funding. And then I have to go back through and read more because it keeps saying it's gonna come back up. It's gonna come back up. You're gonna get the quotes and it's gonna be on the agenda again. You're gonna get the specific amount. It's gonna come on the agenda again. But
So initially it was, we're taking it out of ARPA.
I need to do more research because it's kind of just an ongoing conversation where there's no like, we're doing it, this is where it's coming out of. It's kind of like, this would be a good project to do as one of the wish lists. It should be on your LATCF wish list when you had all departments come up with that is kind of where I've gotten it back to. But I don't know that you
Where's it
set
taken out of?
specific money aside for it.
Yeah,
Who paid it?
the ARPA one.
The, for the septic and the,
28160.
2860,
Yeah, 28160.
2816,
Mm-hmm.
2860, 28160,
Mhm.
the fund number. That's 5. Give me it. No. Oh, that's just. It was taken out of solid waste. Here's the fund number.
Oh,
So we took it out of solid waste, but we were going to,
I need to do more specific research because in just kind of running through this quickly, it says that you guys, when you got your LATCF money, is you were talking about projects that money could be used for. And then you were talking about giving all departments, having them come up with a wish list. And Paul was asking about buying a truck and then talking about the bathrooms. And you guys said those would both be great wish list items. And that's the only time I can see it related back to a fund.
okay, well, we'll do our research and right now, things that was done on the solid waste, we'll do with solid waste is where they took it out of.
I'm pretty sure it was from one of those funds, so one of those,
Yeah. I
because that's why we did it.
Yeah, yeah.
When I was over at the coast, in those counties over there, doing this job makes me appreciate what they must go through and all those people
Yeah,
and all, you know, I mean, just tons of roads.
yeah. We never get totals or totals.
Why, used to. That's it.
There's no total on this one at all. So this one. I can see, because it's only one.
Same as that one. Same as that. Oh, the next one down. No, next one.
This one.
So Billy, how far did
Yeah,
the new gravel
70
go on the
totals.
road up by your
Totals.
place? Did it go all the way to the ranch?
That's a
Last
total,
year?
that's good.
last fall?
Yeah, I think so. I think it went all the way.
When'd you
I don't
get
usually
this?
drive that way because there's so much traffic and usually the road gets,
Yeah, I came down that the other day and the road is horrible up there.
do you,
Down by your place is pretty good.
yeah, and it was really great. It's starting to get a little shoddy just because all the floaters, because they have those trucks and trailers going by all day right now until float season will be over.
But I just wonder why the other part above you was just torn up. I mean, it's just,
And the meadows, so now there's the
Yeah,
meadows up
totals
there
on
and
it.
there's the Ranch Rock Creek, so there's so much traffic up on that
Totally,
side.
yeah.
And a lot of them come in off Scalcoho.
It's here.
It's there, but it should be on the
A
claim.
lot of the people that work out there come through this way over the 348, but a lot of, they always bring their guests the other way.
and then some, it looks like a new road above your place. Kind of, your place is here,
Mhm.
but on that hillside, is that a new road that goes up?
Where those little cabins are,
Especially when.
Before you
the
get to the bridge?
electrical's in.
I haven't seen a cabin.
Oh,
Like a hill in back of your place. Yeah, coming down.
uh-huh,
And so your place is like here.
yeah.
I look up on the hill. look
Oh,
at-
those are old logging roads.
That's an old logging road?
Mhm.
Mm.
Yeah, there hasn't been anything done there since way long. time.
Looks
Yeah,
like something new.
yeah, I know. We used to, yeah, you can, I used to ride my horse back there because you can go up kind of the middle of the ranch. And we have like our, old, ranch dump and you can go get up on the logging roads and you can go this way and head up and meet Forest Service. Or you can go this way and there's an old spring house up there. That used to be the water source for the old ranch house, but it actually connects. You can go take that all the way over and it dumps you out at the edge of the property line on the other side of the hay meadow. And I think that's the road you can see.
Who wrote this note? Interesting, this wasn't put out for bid.
Don't have to, because it's a-
Doug Benson.
Jason,
Who wrote this?
sure.
Patriot Excavating.
Doug
What
Benson
did he
did
do?
it, 'cause we told Paul, and it happened. He he's the one that could get to it. We didn't have to put it out to bid because it wasn't, it's under 80. We ain't got time to do it. Well, I know who wrote it. So do you.
over there.
So what did he do?
He put in the septic and the water line for this, that's at 16, yeah, for the dump, Phillipsburg dump. Cause he was gonna build that little, get the, so they had a toilet and water out there. And we told him, go ahead and get all over and get it in.
Oh, is this for the fall? I'm going through all those minutes right now. Trying to figure out where it was to come out of.
Who wrote this? Should we ask who wrote the note?
Well, no, I didn't know there was no, I
Yeah.
don't see these unless I ask for them. I just get this. Yeah, you.
I think it's supposed to come out of LATCF money.
How are you?
Hi, Anna. Hi, Eily.
Print off the thing that's late.
I have copies of it.
Okay, sorry, I did print it off and it's, I think, sitting in the printer because I didn't know.
Theirs has the date on it, so get them to sign the copy. Don't have the date on it, but I want to print all of them. I made the changes late.
Oh. What's your summer?
It's going. It's so, I go all over the board.
It's hard because like you want summer to be slow,
Oh,
but then there's, I'm sure you guys have it like orientation, so I feel like there's something every.
yeah.
Don't you?
Or just like juggling kids.
Yeah.
I think that's the hard part.
Yeah.
We should get together and have a kid play day though, like over in Willow Creek when the water drops, or like
Yeah. The reservoir, you mean?
over, I'll show you.
Okay. We've been doing the swimming hole. We did Rumsey yesterday.
Is all the glass gone?
I spent, oh, heck yeah. Memorial Day, I packed like an entire box of glass.
Glass out of there?
So, you want to send notes? It's up to you.
Why do they keep treating? I guess we need to say, this.
Well, sure is.
I know.
Okay, so it is what?
10, 14.
Is there, oh, we gotta wait for Chuck.
Side note, I got a $330 reimbursement from my wages
From who?
from the state, because I serve as our tax appeals board secretary.
It goes back, it can be reimbursed back into salaries.
Yep. So I took that over and she brought me a receipt for that. I just wanted to let you guys know I got that all filled and they sent some money
And reimbursement,
back.
usually you go through the clerk and recorder because it's an expenditure.
Okay, so I
So
send
did
it,
she reimburse it or did you put it in revenue?
I don't know. I'm gonna give it to you and see. I sent it to the state
I
and
just need
then,
to see the,
and then they didn't send us a check. They just, I don't know what they did. They deposited something
yeah,
automatically
she,
to the county.
she did put it into salaries, but you need the clerk and recorder needs to notify. the-
Okay, I'll give her a
Yeah.
copy of this,
Yeah.
because they did it all automatically, and I just let her know that I got an email that it
Yeah.
was done. But I
Just so
didn't
that
know where
they
it went.
know that there is a reimbursement there because
Okay.
the expenditure side is handled by the clerk and recorder, the revenue side is the treasurer.
Okay,
So anything reimbursed, you wanna go through the clerk and recorder
okay,
because she doesn't have anything to do with expenditures.
okay.
She's the banker.
Okay,
She doesn't spend money.
perfect.
Yeah.
I'll let her know. Yeah, she came in and she was like, I got money from CTAB. What is it? And I was like, oh, they gave money back.
Yeah, just one of the- just-
Is there a motion to accept claims? Is there one claim that needs to be changed? Are they all okay? Okay. So,
Yeah, I'll move to accept the minutes, or the.
Second.
is there any public comment? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried and passed. Okay, so,
Did you sign your name in?
Sign? Where is sign?
you can.
What do I do? Just read it there. You can read it.
Okay, next agenda item, Anna Burgerson
Ferguson, yeah.
is here to discuss potential contract or MOU to provide evaluations at the sheriff's office for care of prisoners.
You get a letter from Scott. He won't be here. I didn't know.
Did you want to come up?
Sure, just right here. Okay, so, my name's Anna, I'm a licensed mental health therapist in Granite County. I was working with Healthy Granite County Network for about 3 years. As you guys know, the grant for that is kind of coming to an end. And so part of, kind of how I was helping out under some of the grant funds was doing some of the mental health evaluations up at the jail. For the sheriff, and now with that grant kind of coming to an end, I want to still be able to provide those services, and so I was asked by Sheriff Dunkerson to do some contract work there, as in if I am available when they have someone that is up there that they're concerned about suicidal ideation, psychosis, homicidal ideation, that kind of thing, if I'm able to do the mental health evaluations there. I have a copy of my license from Board of Behavioral Health, my contractor's license, my liability insurance. I have cyber liability now, so I have copies of all of this. And Blake wrote up a contract for just kind of what that would look like as far as billing and stuff like that. Do you guys need copies of this? I'm assuming probably.
Yeah.
Okay. So
Are these for me, or do you need me to, do you want to email
No,
them to me?
you can have them. Yeah.
What would
Okay.
what would this come out of them?
That would come out of the prisoner, I think
Prisoners of care.
prisoners of care.
Oh,
And so I was just going to do whatever the standard rate is for them. I know that when they've had to have people come from out of area to do them, it's really, really expensive because the demand, people know they can charge more. I was just gonna do like maybe 75 if I go up there like in an evening and do an evaluation, just because I'm paying for my own EMR, my liability insurance, and yeah, just for driving and that kind of thing. So, which is like actually fairly significant, lower than. But I have a full-time job. I'm kind of more so doing this field to help out a little bit when needed. When I'm not available, they still have the service. Excuse me, up at the medical center to do those through telehealth. Sheriff Dunkerson just prefers them to be done in person, just because sometimes you can get a little bit better read on people that way. The other thing, if we do, through an evaluation, if it is indicated that the patient does need inpatient, they would go up to Granite County Medical Center, to get medical clearance.
Go ahead.
Now, like something this, if we agree on it, do we have to wait till the budget year to start this?
Well-
To take the money out of this, or?
Okay, so the sheriff wants to have a contract with you, and this would come out of care of prisoners. So he is I guess the budget that he gets is gonna have to do a line item
Right.
for what. But I think on this contract, we need an amount, right?
Okay.
Actually on the contract
Okay,
that we agree to and
Okay.
you're requesting and
okay,
we agree to, and then he will do his budget. And if he asks to increase it, whether he increase or he'll have to,
So so we know what to make a line item for this, so.
yeah,
okay,
yeah, and that's during the budget side, which the clerk and recorder will know that.
So meanwhile, if she's doing it right now, is it still covered under the other? or-
I can do it pro bono until we figure out, I don't mind doing it, I
Well,
haven't
I
been,
want you to be covered, I just trying to make sure that we do it right, so when he gets his budget, we can see it and know what it might cost.
right,
Okay, so the grant has ended,
the grant is on, so I'm no longer employed through the grant.
okay,
Yep.
and when was that effective?
June first,
June first,
correct.
okay, have you done any evaluations?
I
this
have
month?
not, nope,
Okay, so I think we're good.
Yeah.
Because the fiscal year starts in a few days.
That's what I'm trying to make.
oh, yeah,
but-
keep going.
I guess a motion, but what we need is an amount
Okay.
in the contract.
So do I need to represent that next week then, or can I just,
Can you,
I
you got
think
time to do it
if you
now?
wanna
Have it
just
open.
can put it in
Okay.
here and
I have
and-
it open.
Okay,
okay,
good.
can I just
But-
do like
Print it.
75 in evaluation, and that'll include, I do a follow-up the next day, typically I just call and see if there's any.
Just
change
make
in-
sure you don't cut yourself short. I mean, I'm not
Okay.
trying to say.
No,
all the
no, I
way up, but you don't, if you're gonna do this stuff, you don't wanna just do it for. charity.
Yeah, well, and that won't include, so if we do involuntary commitment to something like, Montana State Hospital, that's a contract with the attorney, so that would be something, which that's the one that the lady charged like $3,000 for last time. So that is something to where it would probably be like an hourly thing, and I need to talk to Blake
Hello.
about that too, if that is something that he's interested in doing, cause that one would probably be.
So Blaine, to catch you up,
Alright.
this is her contract and what we're having her put in is the amount that she wants to charge.
Okay,
And the sheriff really wants this, so it would come out of care of prisoners.
so what I've talked to the sheriff about is the evaluation will be the sheriff's office. If she testifies, it'll be my office.
Oh.
So I have we already given you a
Where it's
witness
a
on it.
prisoner, but it should be out of care of prisoners,
For,
which is under the
yeah,
sheriff's office.
for the evaluation.
Yeah.
So so if there is an involuntary commitment, that's a civil, it's not a criminal court kind of proceeding, it's civil, right? So that would be different, we're not like,
Yeah.
that
You're-
would be inmate.
You already gave me a witness budget, so if she has
Yeah.
to testify, it can come out of that
You
witness
have
budget,
plenty in your
yeah.
witness budget,
But
probably.
the care of prisoners would be for the evaluation.
Yeah.
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 And that's
Yeah.
a good way of doing it.
Where should I put that in here?
So
Where?
it's
how do you
a
put that?
exhibit A, I think we're just gonna do a separate. Just an attachment called exhibit A, and then it would be. So just is it gonna be a set fee for evaluation or hourly?
Yeah, I'm just gonna do a set fee for
Okay.
evaluation and follow, I'm just gonna do 75. for-
Okay, and then what did you wanna do for testifying, hourly?
Yeah.
Okay,
that would be- I don't know what,
you know what,
I haven't.
these can be very, I mean,
I know.
witness testifying can be very high.
Yeah.
And so it should be worth your time.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what I.
Well,
So,
that's
yeah.
different, the evaluation to me isn't as like, the stuff for the involuntary commitment, that stuff's a lot more.
Hello?
Hi, this isn't for compensation.
I was gonna say,
so-
hi, man.
So generally, so in involuntary commitment, there's a second evaluation. So I think that would be out of the sheriff's, but then the testifying would be like probably an hour, likely by Zoom. So,
So we wanted to stipulate there, it wouldn't be the sheriff's budget because care of prisoners is a separate budget
yeah,
under the sheriff.
I don't think we need to put it in the agreement where it comes from, just as long as we agree to that, but we should put the, yeah, what you'd like for an hourly rate.
How does that work when you have hired, when you've done contracts with people before? So if you, I don't know if you did them through Western or if you did them through like doctors.
So we've like, yeah, I've had like Ashley Westfall do some
Yeah.
of them and some have been, so I would think. I mean, I think we paid over $100 an hour, for
But,
sure.
but I mean, is the contract developed as you hire? Cause I know a lot of times you can't find people, so
Yeah,
you have
we-
to go out of county.
Yeah, we
so-
haven't really had a written contract
Okay.
for a while since Western Montana went out.
Okay, which is,
Yeah, so that's been, yeah, that's been years.
Well,
Go
if
ahead,
you're
sorry.
not comfortable and you wanna think about that hourly thing. we
that
can-
one
Yeah.
I
we
might
can
wait
put it
on,
back on for
just
next
cause I
week,
don't
can't we?
really know.
Give her-
Yeah.
That way you
Yeah.
can kind of look and see what people, so you,
Yeah,
so you don't short yourself.
Yeah.
You see
there's
what a
also a
customer
difference
is.
between, there's like different levels of providers, so like psychiatrists would be a higher rate than like a, licensed therapist, like nurse practitioner, so there are different levels and they change annually, so I need to do a little bit more
And
research on that.
maybe you and Blaine and Billy can write it up and then we have it in front of us and then we can just make a
Well,
decision.
I think I think you'd prove it today, saying like with the customary rate, something like that.
Going rate
Yeah.
of services or
Yeah.
something, I'm not gonna like,
It don't matter, I just wanna make sure that you don't
Yeah.
short yourself.
So in
'Cause
other
this
words,
is all questions coming out that we just.
yeah, I know, I'm sorry, I should have.
No.
Then it can be signed today if you agree to that.
I'd entertain a motion then to go ahead, what you said, how, and then next.
Approve the contract with customary wage rates.
And if you guys did, I mean, if I like highballed or something and you didn't want it, you don't have to, you don't have to move forward with contracting with me for that kind of thing, right? So it's not like,
Well,
you know what I mean?
yeah, all the,
Which I'm not gonna do, but it's not like it's like locking you into having to use me.
yeah. We'd like to use your services, so.
Yeah, your logo.
I second it.
is there any public comment?
Elena.
Go ahead, Elena.
Thank you. For the record again, Elena Gagliano. Point of clarification. So if I heard correctly, the contract isn't complete as we're looking at, and you have more information that has to be added, but you're going to approve it today without that information. Am I correct?
The jail services is complete.
So my advice to him is to accept the agreement with her set wage for the evaluation, set fee, and then with the customary fee to be added for the testimony if there's an involuntary commitment. So I think, yeah, there's a little unknown, but she's right. If you don't like there's nothing that binds us to call her up, but we will. I mean, it's good. So I encourage you to sign the contract today.
So we're not, exhibit A isn't even included. I don't see that. So you're gonna, no dollar amount or anything, but you're gonna agree to it today. Is that correct?
For evaluation is set to 75 in evaluation.
Correct. It's conditional upon it being a customary rate there. And the commission could put this off again until next week, but then have to have Anna come back up again. I just don't see that.
Well, I think personally it should be tabled and put on the agenda. And Anna can, I believe it's Anna, she can attend by Zoom. And the sheriff isn't here either this week, whose budget would be affected. So that's my opinion. Thank you.
Eric's good with it all. I just talked to him.
Plus,
We, I mentioned that in our correspondence earlier, that the sheriff sent us an email that, he agreed with Anna's contract and, that he couldn't make it today, so.
Here's another point. I actually don't need the commission's approval on who I hire as a witness. So it's, yeah, I think you can do it today. And if you decide it doesn't work out between us, then we'll do something else, but yeah.
Okay, going on your, we have
Thanks.
a motion and we have a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion carried and passed.
Thank you.
Thank you. Do I need to sign something? No.
Nice deal.
I do 2 originals, so you each have an original.
Okay. And do you want to sign that one? And then I will give you that one. And then Gwen,
So what
do
did
you want to
we-
sign that
What
one?
did we add to it?
Nothing yet. And
Is
then,
this a different?
no, it's the same one. We just need 2 originals, so you each.
Oh,
have a copy.
okay.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks.
Thank you, and. Better get your
Yes,
daughter-
tell you very
better
much.
get your daughter to sign in.
Yeah, I know. Well, you're still. Okay. Don't wanna get in trouble.
Okay, we're a couple minutes late for our next agenda item, which is meeting with Granite County Compensation Board, recommending salaries of elected officials, including COLA discussion and decision. Guys wanna come up?
More chairs too. And
I can,
another
I'll sit over
chair. Okay.
or Sarah wants to sit over here.
So Anna, you're part of the.
Yeah, I know, that was probably not a great.
Okay.
Well, this, something else, this is employees, so yeah, not a
You're
comment.
fine. Hey, you're fine.
Okay.
Okay, going over your packet. If there's any questions, the COLA this year is 4.1. And what the compensation board would be doing, would be recommending for the elected official. So if you want to explain how with our COLA, we do have some money set aside from last
Right,
year.
and we still have, yeah, because we had set aside, you guys had set aside 300,000 of the LATCF funds. We used almost 200,000 last year for it, so there's about 300, or there's about 102 left of that money that we could put towards it.
Okay, and last year the COLA was 8% and you used 4%
Correct.
out of the money.
Yeah,
that
that's
we
what
set
the
aside.
200, right.
So if we were going to accept this COLA for the elected officials, looking at cost wise, we would probably do the 2% out of those funds. And then 2% would be fund wise, budget wise for the expenditures side of it.
That's kind of what, yeah. When I kind of went the numbers, it sort of came up right to that 100, so. Mhm.
I think that's more than fair.
The cost of living and stuff, I think,
Yeah, I think, I agree with it.
Is there a
fits in the
motion?
budget.
Motion?
Does the
Can we-
compensation board make a
It-
motion?
Yeah,
So
we-
we're
we
all,
are the
we are the
compensation
compensation board,
But
yeah.
I
it would be
make-
great if
We
the
make a
public.
recommendation.
Yeah, we're just,
I'll make the motion.
you make the motion. I'll second it.
Okay.
4.1.
Is there any public comment? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carried and passed. Thank you.
That's not it, is
So-
it?
That's it.
Yeah, oh, I wanted to
No.
talk about the
No, that's not
longevity
it.
What about
Oh, yeah.
for the,
for the deputies.
Yeah.
Okay, the deputies are not elected officials, the
No.
compensation board.
what
is.
was this one? Carol Borenson, Ashley Todd, Sarah Graham requesting addition to their salary? 1% of their,
No, not their salary,
To the
the
deputies.
deputies.
oh, to
So
the
is that-
deputies.
So that's the next thing that we're gonna talk about then. Oh,
Okay.
And that is,
It's very
they're not
confusing.
elected, so the compensation board really doesn't have.
Oh, we don't have to do it?
Yeah.
A decision, but you can put your 2
I
cents.
just had
worth
a
in.
question. I didn't understand it.
Yeah,
I'm
you
like,
can
"Hold
stay.
on."
Sense is anything we can do to help retain deputies needs to be done.
No, I'm fine with it.
I
Yeah.
want it
People
noted
stay.
that I'm not on that part of it.
I didn't see Scott Pat.
Okay. You're recusing yourself from that.
yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
So
So we don't need to do that.
It was,
That was for
okay,
you guys.
the final decision, and then, the next one, motion carried and passed for the 4.1% for Elected officials. Okay, so then the next agenda is the Granite County Employees Compensation. So usually when we have COLA given to the elected officials, not usually, we always give that same COLA to all other employees. Okay, now there is a letter from the elected officials for their deputies to, excuse me?
Oh, okay.
Guys,
I was asking for the letter, because I've never seen it.
oh, you didn't see the letter? Anyway, we researched this and Mako came back stating that, naturally, the deputies could not, and what they said, he has to make less than 90%, but we've been doing 90% on a fourth year deputy.
Yeah, I think it has it, I think it's quoted in that, what it says,
You-
yeah,
the
about the
quote-
90%, yeah.
Okay, anyway, so we have an unusual way, we give our deputies their pay status. They start as a first year deputy and then they end up as a fourth year deputy. So they start out at 80% of the clerk recorder, or the clerk recorder, the elected officials salary, so 80%. Then after the first year, they go to 83%.
83.33,
And then
yeah, right, and then there's 87.
then they go to 86, and as a fourth year deputy, they're at 90%. So, what the Mako also advised is that because they are not elected officials, but they, sorry, but they should be treated as all other employees. So all other employees of Granite County are under a matrix. And they go by steps. So we've done some research and we've set up a matrix for elected officials, deputies. And I don't know if you guys got a copy of this.
No,
No,
I
not
don't know
yet.
anything about this.
I didn't share this yet,
Okay.
because you said you would
So
want to.
what this is what
present
what
it. I have it now.
we've come up with. And to explain it, we would put a special line item for the matrix, just for deputies. As a fourth year deputy, they'd go into entry level. And after 2 years, they'd get 2%. And that's the way all the employees on the matrix, they get their step increase every 2 years. So this is 10 steps. They max at step 10, but 10 steps is 20 years. So each year after their fourth year, they will go into the matrix and start their steps. So for example, how we decided this, because their anniversary dates are not the same as, would not be the same. We decided that we'd make this effective January 1st, 2025 to coincide with the elected officials and their longevity. And that the step their entry level would start, for example, fourth year deputy, I'm gonna use Becky as an example, who's the clerk and recorder's deputy. She started as a deputy in 2019 when Sarah took office. And in 2022, she became a fourth year deputy. And her anniversary date is January 1. And the reason we're doing January 1 is to coincide for budget purposes. and coincide with the elected officials. So this year, Becky, on January 1st, 2025, would be a step 1. Because she would be 6 years deputy, so her entry level, she would have met her entry level, and she would be a year into step 2. So she would be, step 2 would take place in January 1, 2026. The treasurer is Teresa. She would be a step 1 going into January 1st, 2025. And then in 2 years, she would be a step 2. The reason we picked January, okay, so for example, on their anniversary date, we'll use Teresa. She was April is her anniversary date. So we can't use that for how we want to do this matrix. So because she's in that fiscal year, we'll use the prior January. So her entry level will start that January, and then that way you'll be able to budget. You have a question? Okay, just let me finish and then if you guys have questions. So anyway, is there any questions on that?
One thought I had is, why is the cap at 20 if you want to like encourage them to work
Because
longer?
that is what
The employee cap
all
is-
other employees,
Are
they
capped
max
at
10
20.
steps.
Yeah.
So they have
So
to
that equals-
be
we can't
treated
have
as
that.
all other employees because they're not elected. So they have
Alright.
10 steps like all the other employees.
Okay.
Are we giving people credit for if they're coming from a different department? So if someone transfers from like Powell County here, are they starting at
No,
step 1 brand new?
no.
Do they, okay.
All the other counties do
Start
not do
over.
the same as we. They might not have the matrix. They don't do any kind of longevity, most of them.
It's
A
a
lot of
mixed
them
bag.
don't. So this is unique with this is unique with Granite County.
Right, and the ones that I talk to that do longevity, they do it the same way that the elected officials have longevity, like, so. But those are just the ones that I came up with.
Well, we were highly recommended to treat them as regular employees, so elected officials longevity doesn't.
So
end.
we got, you know, something different from Mackenzie then, or so.
So what do you
Mackenzie,
suggest?
Mackenzie from Mako, not Mackenzie.
I'm,
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Brian.
so I'm trying to understand that it goes from 80 to 90% there, that continues,
4 years.
that 4 year?
They would start their 4th year into entry level,
Okay,
and then they would start
Alright.
their matrix.
so they'll
So
get that,
We would keep their anniversary
yes.
date
okay,
up until, which is only fair,
yeah,
because we have one deputy that's starting her 2nd year deputy.
Now-ish.
We
Yeah.
have the other deputies that are 4th year deputies.
yeah, that sounds,
And that's
sounds
why
good, yeah,
we would keep then it would change and we would use January. Like for in the fiscal year, as of before June 30th, the January would be the preceding January. If it was like July 1st, then it would be the following January for budget purposes.
okay. Does that works all
It'll
right?
have to, I just simplified, I mean, from what I was getting from when I put the word, you know.
Okay, this is our decision.
I
though,
understand
Sarah.
that, that's what I said, it will
Yeah.
work, we will make it
Make it
work.
work.
What do
No,
you,
I just-
what are you suggesting?
That's what I was requesting, that they are on a longevity thing, similar to like the sheriff's deputies and similar.
Okay, the
to
sheriff's
how-
deputies
so
are
when
by law.
Right, so I understand
Okay.
that you're doing it this way and it will work, but what I was suggesting is what I was suggesting, or what I was asking for.
So what you
So,
want
but-
is for everyone to just every year get 1%.
Right, that they would get a longevity, because, so the reason I came up with that is when I did put it out to the other payroll places, asked if anybody did do longevity for the deputies, and they did. And that's what they came back with, is how they do it. They do it on a,
Okay, but they don't have the matrix like we do, and we have to treat them like regular
Yeah.
employees.
so,
And the regular employees are on the matrix and they have 10 steps. So if we're gonna treat them like regular employees because they're not elected officials,
so, and that's, I
We don't
didn't
have to
get
do this
that,
either.
yeah, and so you, So you guys talked with Mackenzie more in depth. We didn't get that from her when you talked with her. So that's our,
Well, it's not up to Mako
Right.
anyway. We're getting advice from Mako. It's
Mhm.
up to the commission whether or not.
right. No, and that's not I mean, she didn't go in that in depth with us. So
We
that-
did.
Right, that's what I'm saying. You did. I didn't get that from her, so.
Do you have a comment?
Oh, yeah, hold on, yeah, okay, so
Uh-huh.
when you're talking that, like a 2-year and a 4-year, we don't have to go back and pay them for the years.
No, absolutely not. What we're doing.
I do understand what you're saying, I just
Okay.
wanted to make sure that it don't go back,
Right.
Cause then all of a sudden they come in and say, well, you're saying, I'm a 4 years, so now I need my other 3 years.
No,
Okay,
this would
and
be going forward.
Here's what we,
Okay,
okay, here's what we could do. What I did is I looked at who's been deputy longer. Okay, and so we could just go January 1 when you're a 4th-year deputy, you could start your entry level. And then it'd be the same going forward. If that's what you wanna do, then we could do that. And so what would happen is they'd both go entry level January 1, and then their step increase would be 2 years from now. Is that?
So, yeah, so I mean, this is a different plan, but it's on a matrix thing, that's just what you're talking about, we work with the other matrix and so we can.
And the reason
what's
we
the
have-
other matrix?
Huh?
County
The
employee
regular,
one.
the regular.
So all
hourly people.
employees are on a
I
matrix.
know that, but when she just said the other matrix, see, now you got me,
Oh,
I'm getting lost.
yeah, so actually we have several different matrices, so we have, what we started out with, the regular matrix. And then the road crew has their own
Because
one,
they're union.
right, and because of the union,
Yeah, the unions have
the
separate matrices.
dispatchers got a different matrix, and now we'll have a different matrix for this.
So is it gonna be more fair then, instead of treating it like this, we just put effective January 1, 2025, 4th-year deputies start entry level and will receive a step increase in 2 years?
So you're talking not waiting until they've been here 4 years, but any deputy that comes in, it would
Any
be-
deputy,
that comes in and that gets to their 4th year, that I'm just trying to understand.
so what, okay. I went on their seniority.
Mm-hmm.
I went on their seniority as of January 1st. The clerk and recorder's deputy would be a step 1, eligible to move to step 2 on January 1st, 2026.
Okay,
Because January 1, she will have been a 6-year deputy.
January 1 of 2025 or 2026?
2020.
2026 because,
Yeah, and so she'd be 1 year into the 2-year for step 2.
Mhm.
So then she'd go to step 2 in 2026.
Mhm.
With the treasurer's deputy, she just turned deputy in 23, April of 23.
Mhm.
So she's got her 2 years, because April, we went to January 23, January, December 31st of 24, that's the 2 years entry.
Mhm.
So she'd be a step 1.
so I mean, we'll look at that, we can get it all squared away, that's, yeah.
Well, it has to be squared away
Well,
today if you're gonna make it.
No, we'll put it on the agenda for next week.
Oh, it
What
has
do you
to be.
mean squared away?
Oh, just,
Like,
No,
who's
just-
gonna be, if we're gonna do.
yeah, so I mean, yeah, we understand, yes.
So some language will be potentially tweaked in the existing one that can be put online, public can comment, you can have it on the agenda
Yeah,
next week.
since it's a policy change.
All right.
Because we're setting up a matrix, it has to
Yeah.
start somewhere
Right.
for the deputies. You have a question?
There was discussion last year about the city having a budget for law enforcement that they had never billed for. Is that something that they're considering doing to like increase wages for deputies? Do you remember talking about that last year? That like the city of Phillipsburg, the city of Drummond should have a budget for like.
They do, we have a budget.
Oh,
They-
it's-
They have their own.
There's a contract
We
between
have
the
cities
cities.
Oh, okay.
and each one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Okay, never mind.
That
sorry.
would
different
throw- that would
deputies.
throw a whole
But
big-
this is
But-
for like deputy.
But there is an
clerk.
annual
Oh,
increase.
okay,
Different
okay, okay,
deputies.
sorry.
Yeah.
I got-
That's okay.
Oh,
Thank you,
no,
okay.
no.
Okay, so I guess Blaine tweak this. Are you agreeable to giving, like, for example, we've got Becky and we've got Teresa, and Becky's been a deputy longer than Teresa. And working it where they both start out at 1, but then the following year Becky would be 2.
Yeah, I think should be based off of their years of service,
Mhm.
just like ours, right? So if Becky has seniority and has
So-
been here longer, she would move to a step 2 before Teresa would move
Yeah.
to a step 2. Yeah.
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 And with Mackenzie, she's only a second year deputy.
Mhm.
So she just received, for June, she'll receive a 3% increase on her salary. And then next year, she will become the entry level 4th-year deputy, or 3rd-year deputy.
Third year, so
Yeah,
then,
yeah.
yeah, so we
Yeah.
So
wait till she's
she
the
wouldn't
fourth
be
year and then
available
she'd
until
start.
what, 26?
Yeah, then she'd start that when she's 4th year. That's, so at 4th year is when they start their matrix. Exactly.
And
That's
because
what
the
we're
reason
saying.
the 10 steps is you have to treat them like regular employees. Their matrix, so.
Okay.
I think that's a better way of going about it, because you're not, they're on different
They're not all the
dates.
same.
Yeah, starting them both out on the same step and moving at the same step at the same time. I don't think would be agreeable for me, just because, like you were saying, Becky has seniority, she has that full year more, so she should move.
And the only, way we could, because this is a new policy, we could go forward and say, okay, you're all 4th-year deputies, starting that matrix at entry level, 2 years, you're 50%.
Well, I think that I think what you're talking about first is, yeah, so I mean,
I'm
they get to their
so
4th year and then
lost.
they start their matrix.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so,
they start their 4th year and they start their matrix.
yeah,
So-
that's what, yeah,
Well,
that
yeah.
sounds good, yeah.
That's entry level.
Mhm.
Yeah.
The reason entry level is because their 4th year, they're actually been there 3 years, and they get the extra 4% starting out in the 4th year. So give them that whole year, and then use that for their matrix as entry level.
So do we make a motion today to move ahead with this, or wait till you
I
get
would
it
just,
done?
I would just table it, tell you that.
Well, we can put it on the agenda,
Yeah.
get the tweaks out of it.
But do we need to get their approval? for the
No, they're- because they're not
They're just elected
elected.
officials.
That's all I'm-
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Yep,
Thank you,
have a
guys.
good day.
Sorry, guys.
Okay, what we do have to do today is whether or not we're giving all other employees the 4.1 COLA, with the exception of the union employees.
This is the one that you recommend me to stay out of?
No.
This is the one.
That was the last one.
That'll be next
With the
week.
deputies, the employees, you can,
Are you guys okay with this? Is this
Yes.
what you were thinking? Or what were you thinking? Just starting right off at 1% and going forward?
Right, just what I'd written on there, which is what the other people that I had done, you know,
She took her.
yeah, just like a regular longevity, which is what the other counties that had answered me.
How many other counties?
I had
3 or 4.
5 of them that actually answered me. And, or 6 that answered, 5 of which had done it.
Out of 56.
Right, that wasn't 56 answering me, it was 6 answering me.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
They're not always
Right.
great about the answer.
Mhm.
We're actually, Granite County is unique, they, their elected officials are paid a whole lot more than a lot of other counties are paid. Just because we think they're special.
good, because there's good competition out there,
Yeah.
trying to, keep the good ones, or get people, well, when the current ones retire, being a position where people want to apply for
Okay, is there a motion
it.
about the COLA for all other employees?
I'll make a motion to go ahead with the COLA for all employees.
Well, second.
Which is 4.1. Okay, is there any public comment? Go ahead, Elena.
Thank you, Elena Gagliano. I have comments and then a question, because I lost track of where you are. This is the Compensation Board Annual Meeting, number 1. There was a packet 21 pages presented to each one of them. And on the packet, there were 8 items of discussion, I thought. And then you have it on the agenda, 3 items, total 15 minutes. Those are my comments. Now, something is going to be tabled for next week. And so I'm confused, what's going to be tabled for next week? And what did you, I heard there was a motion and accepted, which one was that made for of these 3 items?
Okay, Elena, of the 3 items, there was a letter from the elected officials requesting longevity for their deputies. We received this letter earlier in the week, and so we researched it, and we came up with a matrix for elected officials, deputies, which would be effective January 1st, 2025. This is a new policy, so it's going to be tabled until next week. It'll be on the agenda, accepting the matrix for the elected officials, deputies. The second item on the county employees compensation was if we were going to give the COLA to all county employees, 4.1%, that motion was made and seconded and all in favor. But not yet, but go ahead, Blaine.
One clarification is the compensation board already met and approved the 4.1% COLA for elected officials. So the compensation board is no longer meeting, it's just the county commission.
Oh, I agree on that. That's the county commissioners have control of our money and they are spending our money. So I agree
Well-
with that. The other thing though is I'm still confused of the 3 items on the agenda specifically. Each one, compensation board for salaries of elected officials, salaries for compensation of salaries, COLA, and the third item, compensation for employees. Okay, so it's on the agenda for each one of those. The other thing I'm going to say is nobody introduced themselves. So we had no idea who was there and we had no idea who was commenting or questioning because they didn't say their names. So it was like everybody talking over. And again, I am a taxpayer resident. I am paying for these things and I'd like a better understanding. Apparently, there was some questions from whoever was there. I assumed it was the compensation board that didn't understand it either. That's my point. For the record. Thank you.
So the compensation board is a recommendation. So your motion on the 4.1 is the county commission should include elected officials and employees. So
Okay, so
yeah.
their recommendation was to give
4.1.
the 4.1 to the elected officials.
It's a final decision is the county
And then
commission.
the next agenda item was the county commission making a motion to accept the 4.1 COLA for all elected officials. It was seconded and carried.
Okay. That one did by the commission.
Yeah.
Okay. And so now you're just on to the
And the third
employees.
one
Yeah.
was, there was discussion on the third one because of the fact that the elected officials brought a letter in. The letter was in the packet with the compensation board too, which was brought in, and we did research on it because we received it earlier for the matrix for elected officials, deputies. They requested longevity for their deputies. We came back with a matrix that would be effective January 1, 2025, which would be the same matrix that all other employees have.
You've explained this a couple times.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carried and passed. Okay, so do you have a copy?
Yes, I do.
You feel you need to tweak it in any way?
I'll just, I mean, you can, you know,
Yeah.
I think the,
whatever.
potentially that, you start on the matrix at on the start of your 4th year, we might
Yeah.
need to clarify that.
Yeah. we'll work on it.
Okay, so there is an entry for the 4th-year deputy. So the entry, looking at their anniversary date, where their anniversary date, if it was in that fiscal year, then we do the prior January. And this would be for budget purposes. If their anniversary date for their regular.
Okay. So,
I think I'm confusing you with the anniversary date and with their 4th-year deputy, right? I think that's,
Yeah.
because it is confusing.
Yeah.
looking at the
Because-
current language, it says, this will place the current deputies as follows as of January 1, 2025. Deputy clerk and recorder will be a step 1, eligible to move to a step 2 on January 1st, 2026.
Because she's actually got 1 year in
Okay,
to her step 2.
so you're good on that one.
Yeah.
Deputy treasurer will be a step 1.
Yeah, because she's got actually 2 full year, December 31st will be 2 full years as being a 4th-year deputy. So she's met her entry level deputy.
Then,
Right.
deputy clerk of court will not be on the matrix yet, as the current deputy is a 2nd-year deputy. As the start of her 2nd year commenced on January 12th, 2024.
So her 4th-year deputy would be in 26. Right, 26?
Should we just say that, we could just say that would be, on the matrix as of January 1st, 2026.
Yeah, as well as entry level on the matrix. I'm sure that's right, is that right?
I don't,
26?
well, I'll look at the dates and stuff, I'm sure.
I just have one question for clarification for myself. So when you have on here 4-year deputies, 4th-year deputy as entry, do they receive their 1% and
No,
their
it'll
full
be-
90% of salary starting in the step 1?
When they go entry, it's 2 years and then they'll get step 1, starting January 1.
Okay.
So for example, if Teresa just turned 4th year this month, say, she would start her, as of January 1, she'd be 1 year and she'd have 1 more year
Before she would receive.
before she
her
would
step
receive her
one.
step 1.
Okay.
Is there something on there that needs to be more clarified?
I don't know. I think I just need to look at it a little bit harder.
Step 1 on January.
Sorry, guys, we're running a little late.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
we can look at it.
Matrix
We'll
until January
review
1st.
and have more questions.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Bye.
Thanks, Sarah, Ashley,
Thank you.
good job.
We are running late. So we should have started this agenda at 10:45. It is now 11:05, so you guys wanna come up? We have Brody with insurance renewal rates discussion and decision.
Thank you all. I brought Amy McNichols with me. She's our new account manager assistant, so wanted to make sure everybody had put a face to a name. She's the new Lynn. Lynn will definitely be missed, but Amy's doing a nice job for us, so. Anyway. Madam Chair, members of the commission, thank you for giving us the opportunity to come before you today to kind of go over the renewal. We've got multiple different documents I'll pass out, and then we can take as long or as little as we need to on these. I think I brought 5 copies.
I'll take you one.
So the first one, and I guess I would ask, how many commissioners were able to take part in the Mako Zoom call that took place 4 or 5 weeks ago?
Oh, I did.
Blanche and I did.
Okay, so, so this will be kind of a little bit of an overview or review for you folks, but, the renewal meeting, was delivered, the Mako Global Renewal Meeting, if you will, was delivered via Zoom. I was on the call, Commissioner Claire was on the call, and Billy, you were on the call as well. So we'll take just a quick run through of this. The agenda that was on that call talked about, number one was the excess and reinsurance market analysis. Obviously, from the insurance perspective, we're seeing some ebbs and flows in the market. And from a casualty standpoint, those lines, casualty being your general liability, your errors and omissions, your auto liability, those kind of are relatively flat. But the property market is really kind of in a tumultuous time, frankly. So looking through this, the claims analysis, there were law enforcement claims and wind and hail. And this again isn't specific to Granite County. It's the pool as a whole. So the liability was up 10%. The property was up 20%, which is your buildings and machineries and boiler machinery was up 7%. And then fiduciary or fidelity and crime was relatively flat. Liability and property coverage, there's a wildlife exclusion. They talked about unacceptable drivers and permissive and casual use drivers in Montana. Montana is considered a permissive use state. So if you grant permission to a driver to utilize the vehicles, then there is coverage. So that's just something that they kind of wanted to talk about. But the P&C market, insurance cycle, again, headline, are we in crisis again? And I think from a property standpoint, I'm looking at it, and the casualty lines are relatively, we're seeing some modest changes there, but the casualty lines, the property is really the one that's really kind of driving things. So, when you open up the newspaper and you read that State Farm's not writing homeowners policies in the state of California anymore, or Florida, that's kind of problematic, and that's just emblematic of what's happening in the society as a whole. Couple on the casualty side of things, what we're seeing is a couple of the drivers they call it social inflation, which is an increase in litigation costs as a result of expectations of juries, the claims associated with higher litigation. So that's really what social inflation is. And then of course they talk about nuclear verdicts. Those are the verdicts that hit the marketplace that nobody saw coming. So you take it to a jury, a claim, there's a claim, it goes to a jury, and the jury awards something that is just inconceivable to the general public. And so that's kind of what we're seeing from the casualty side of things.
In like California, like huge property.
More so on the casualty lines, it's the social inflation, which is driving and then the nuclear verdicts. Now, of course, Mako is a member, is a county, obviously, and it's a public entity. And public entities in the state of Montana get the benefit of MCA 29108, which is the statutory tort provisions for claims. The statutory tort provisions are a claimant is the $750,000 per claim and per person and 1.5 million per claim. And a lot of people say, well, why do we have higher limits than that? Or why do we need higher limits than that? Well, sometimes you have federal claims or claims that are brought outside of state court. So the renewal summary by line of coverage, Mako's liability was a 10% increase to the base rate. Property vehicles, $1.10 per 100, equipment 44 cents per 100, buildings and contents 25 cents per 100, which was a 20% increase, and then the inflationary factor of 5%. The boiler and machinery policy came in with a 7% increase, and then again the fidelity and crime and terrorism, there were no changes on that coverage. This next page is the Mako pool as a whole. You can look at the incurred liability loss from 2018 policy to the 2022-23 policy period, and claims paid were 45.8 million against premiums paid over that same time frame of 39.31. So the 5-year loss ratio as a whole for the pool is at 117%. In terms of property, Property losses were at 19.156 million against premiums paid in of 23.12 million. So the pool as a whole is generating or running a 83% loss ratio. So over the 5 years, from a liability standpoint, the pool has lost money. And then in running a temperature, and then the property ratio at 83, they have made some money, but it's certainly not, it's not a big money maker by any means. So the next chart is the claims over the course of the 5-year period. And it's kind of interesting to see that they're they're relatively close. 54% of those were property claims, 46% of those were liability claims. So this is just, again, a 5-year snapshot of the pool as a whole. The next year is the paid claims. Liability claims were 79%, and property were at 21%. So that's just kind of a recap. The risk management services provided by Mako, and I did hear from the earlier conversation, the discussion on Mackenzie McCarthy. So she's available as general counsel. She helps with human resource assistance and any guidance on local government. There are several other people there that help as well. So feel free to tap into those resources as you need to, as you move forward. The next page is risk management services provided by Mako. Obviously, they have a cybersecurity program. Ironically, they're not providing cyber coverage any longer, so we have to place that on a standalone basis, which we'll talk about in a minute. They do have in-house claims administration, adjuster relationships and quarterly claims reviews, in-house defense counsel, with member savings and attorney relationships there, and as well as their origami policy and claim software. I'm not sure if any of you folks are taking advantage of or looking into the origami software to look at your loss runs or anything like that. And then normally during our quarterly meetings, I'll bring the loss runs in anyway, but that's available to you as well. So any questions on that stuff? And then this next is the acknowledgement form, which we'll talk about in a moment. The final page is just a recap of Granite County's premium. And obviously, we're bringing you a little bit of good news. Well, I shouldn't say good news. I should say, let me rephrase. Better news than others, put it that way, in the sense that we're bringing you a decrease this year. The 2023-24 premium was 276,000, and this one came in at 272, almost 273. So it does represent a slight decrease in premium on a year-over-year basis. So that's positive. Any questions on that? The next is just another summary of insurance, and this is a little bit more in tune with the high level view. But page 3 of this is just kind of breaks down the lines of coverage, and we've got the expiring premium associated then with the renewal premium. On the workers' compensation, that is down about $1,000 over last year, which is good news. The cyber is up about 900. The commercial aviation policy is flat. And then, as we just mentioned, the commercial package policy is down a couple $1,000. So your overall spend on insurance is down this year relative to last. Any questions on that? That's just a summary. The next page, pages 4 and 5 of 13 are our location schedules, which we've talked about that. Billy, you and I've talked about that, and some of the other commissioners have. And so that's your location schedule. The page 6 is your cyber liability or internet liability. We have this written with a $1 million per claim cost with a $25,000 deductible. Which is a high deductible, but that's pretty standard with what we're seeing in the marketplace in this day and age. So I would encourage, you, the commissioners and the county to take advantage of every resource you can from a cyber liability and cyber security measure to make sure your cyber resiliency efforts are up to snuff. And if we can help in that respect, please let us know and we'll try and deploy some resources for the benefit of Granite County. The next page is our workers' comp policy. And I like to draw your attention, just go to page, if you can read it, it's kind of small print, but the best way to look at this would be page 9 of 13. And we'll walk and talk through this. So the 2023-24 rate structure is there for comparison purposes. And then we've got the 24-25 rate structure for comparison purposes as well. Note the rates across the top. The manual rates have dropped again, which is good news for policyholders. We don't have any payroll or very small amount of payroll tied to class code 7382. But if you look at the rate, that dropped from $491 per 100 to $391. The law enforcement class code dropped from $330 per 100 in payroll to $250. Municipal, professional, or administrative dropped from 69 cents to 52 cents per 100. Clerical dropped from 27 cents to 20. All other class code 9410, which is professional, all their employees dropped from 154 to 117. The 9420 municipal, all other employees and drivers dropped from 560 to 446. And then a community service workers dropped from 270 to 207. So that in and of itself represents a pretty decent reduction. Now your mod did go up considerably because we had some claims activity, but we were able to negotiate a little bit more schedule credit with our underwriter, so that the net effect is you're paying less this year than you were last year in workers' compensation as well. So I realize that was a quick recap, but I'd be happy to answer any questions that you guys may have. And I wanted to make sure that we had this discussion in person, so that's why I was trying to push to get in before.
We made it
Yeah,
work.
right, yeah. So
I don't have any questions. I understood. I did.
They like your dollar amounts.
that's always nice. Yeah, believe me, the visits that I've been having to most of my insureds, that dollar amount is, I'm having different conversations with other members. So anyway, I like the dollar amount for Granite County's benefit as well. The next document in here is the electronic delivery document delivery consent form. And I don't know if you guys want us to do that or not. Is that something you're okay with us providing electronic document delivery to the county? If so, I would get your signature on that, Madam Chair. Is that something you want?
Quicker and easier and
Yeah.
yeah.
For a lot of other
Yeah.
stuff.
Okay, so I'll let you sign mine and I'll take this as the. And I will, I didn't make copies, but I want to leave this with you. So this is the actual quote from the Montana State Fund. But everything that I talked about that's on here corresponds to this, but I thought I better leave this with
No, I
somebody as
appreciate
well.
that,
Yeah, so that's yours as well. And then, of course, in that earlier packet, there is the acknowledgement form on the property schedule. And I think we've scrubbed that schedule pretty well. Are you in agreement with that?
Yep, I think we have.
Okay, so I think we're okay to go ahead and have the Madam Chair sign this as well.
So who's all signing this?
I'm signing it, you're signing it, and let's see, who's signing it?
Yeah, two.
Authorized. Okay, yeah, so this would be
Printed name and then
printed name,
signature.
yep, and then I'll sign the bottom line.
Cricket name.
Do you have any questions? Is there anything else we can be doing for you? I know I missed the meeting last week. I apologize. There was a safety meeting last week. I had to be in a mediation in Great Falls, so. And Brody was on another. He had another commitment as well, but we'll
He
try and.
came and did
certainly-
inspections though.
Yeah,
last
he did.
week, so
Yeah, he was
I
in
think-
doing
yeah,
some inspections. so.
He checked out stuff and I think checked in with a lot of departments in New Area.
How about you, sir?
Why always me?
You're always good for a good comment.
Yeah, I can't get anything out of it.
Went down, so you can't say anything. Oh, he's going that.
I'd sign one of these for the county too, Blanche, the
Yeah,
electronic
if we could have a
document
copy.
consent for Billy.
Yeah, or if you could send it to me, like, are you gonna have an electronic copy? you
I
can
have
send
it.
me?
We can forward it to you.
Okay,
That would
That
be
work?
perfect.
They'll
Yeah.
forward it, Blanche, sorry.
What do you think? Here's
Now she has a machine, now I got it.
Nice to get good news.
Amy's doing a nice job for us. She's working on Powell County as well, Granite County. We just established a new relationship with the city and county of Butte Silver Bow on its workers'
Just our
compensation
copy.
policy, so she'll be working on that as well. So she's getting her feet wet with respect to public entities, which is good for the benefit of everybody. So,
No, sounds good.
Thank you very much.
absolutely.
Oh, do you want our email address
Amy, it
put
was
in there?
nice
Do you
to
want,
meet you.
Nice to meet you as well.
do you want to the,
This one's our copy.
oh,
Or
but
do you-
what got printed in there for the email address?
Do you need?
What's
an email sent
Commissioner?
to me?
Yeah,
Commissioner at.
Oh, I think, yeah, we
Commissioner
have
CO.
it. Yeah, we have that. Okay,
We're good.
Okay.
very good. Well, thank you again.
Yeah, thank
Have a
you.
great rest of the summer.
You too.
Appreciate it.
Good seeing you.
You too. Thank you. Thank you. Good to see you.
You too.
Thanks, sir. Good to
Thanks.
see you. Yeah.
Always
Nice
good
to
to
see
see
you.
you.
Yeah,
Yes.
you too.
Nice to meet you. I'm Blaine.
See you next time.
Finally meet you.
Thank you. Thank you, Amy.
Thank you.
You
Okay,
guys have a
we
good day.
are
Thank you.
running a little late.
Have a good day.
Thanks, guys. Our next agenda item is Southwest Regional Juvenile Detention Grant MOU with Gallatin County discussion and decision.
That's just an annual one you do. It's for the,
So this,
That
anybody, there isn't anybody online to
Nope.
discuss it? Okay, we just,
I'll make a motion that we go ahead with the Gallatin County memorandum of understanding between Gallatin and Grant.
I second it.
okay, and just to, we have looked this document over prior to the
Yeah, so
agenda item.
they always handle the grant for us and
Yeah,
if,
we usually give all the money back to the other.
yeah, if we
counties.
don't use it, then we, and sometimes if we need more, then I think there's probably available.
Yeah, they usually
So,
plot it at the
yeah.
end.
okay, so any public comment? Being none, all in favor? Aye. Motion carried and passed. That was the last agenda item.
Oh, we,
We
one
got
more.
Jason Wilson,
Oh, Jason Wilson, sorry.
sorry.
Oops, Jason.
I'm gonna make him a co-host, so he will be able to mute and unmute himself.
What's that?
I made him a co-host so he can mute and unmute.
Okay. Go ahead,
I think-
Jason.
I think I'm unmuted. Can you all hear me?
Yes.
Perfect. Well, good morning, good afternoon, everybody. My name is Jason Wilson. I'm the T-Mobile Government Accounting Executive that covers Montana. I have two of my ruggedly handsome peers on the call as well. I asked them to stay off camera because they're too good looking. They're distracting. But I appreciate you guys taking the time. I just kind of want to give you guys an overview of what T-Mobile has done specifically in Granite County overall and kind of where our roadmap is. First off, is there anybody here that has T-Mobile or has received feedback about T-Mobile, friends, family, peers?
Anybody?
I know you have a tower here and so, yeah, the coverage is likely good in Phillipsburg. I haven't talked to anyone directly.
Yeah,
Could
me neither.
could I butt in just for a second?
Sure.
Can I make I got an emergency phone call.
Okay.
So that feedback's pretty common. for me. So that is actually why T-Mobile has brought me on. So I spent 6 years with another provider running their first responder team. I'm actually situated over here in Boise, Idaho, born and raised, minus 2 years I spent in Seattle that I am trying to forget as quickly as I can. But being with the other provider for so long, being born and raised in the Pacific Northwest, T-Mobile has always been kind of a prepaid carrier to me with dirt cheap prices and not great coverage. So T-Mobile is trying to pull me over for the last 2 years, and just because they've never had anybody actually in Idaho, Montana area. But to be honest, every time I talked to them, I felt they were lying to me. It actually took them sending me a device, allowing me to test throughout the states, that I was actually pretty impressed with our coverage overall. So now I wear T-Mobile hats to work and wear pink T-shirts and drink the pink Kool-Aid. It's been a ride. So what I'm showing everyone here is just a network map of what we have for Granite County. So currently I have 4 towers covering the county for the most part. When you're looking at this map, the dark pink indicates really good in-building coverage. As you go out away from that tower, you'll see that pink get lighter. That lighter pink indicates that our in-building coverage isn't as strong. So at the very far out, a lot of times to get decent data speed, you're going to need to be outside to get those speeds. But the thing with T-Mobile and what kind of caught my interest and what they've done really a terrible job of doing is really promoting the spectrum that they have available. So their spectrum that they actually have that's really applicable to Granite County, Ravalli, to Missoula County, oh, apologies, my computer's running a little slow, is we actually utilize a 600 megahertz spectrum. That 600 megahertz actually propagates farther than really any other cellular provider out there. So why that's important to you is we only have 4 towers, but with that 600 megahertz, it's able to reach further distances and allow you to get connectivity in places where you typically wouldn't with the other guys. So that's how we really help with the rural areas. T-Mobile's invested really heavily in their 5G build out. So even that 600 megahertz spectrum I talked to you about is built into our 5G core. So even when you're on the edge of coverage, you're going to be getting those super fast 5G speeds. T-Mobile has bought up so much 5G spectrum now that our 5G network is so large that you can fit AT&T and Verizon spectrum into our network. So what that really means for you is we can accommodate a lot of traffic. So if you have an event, a parade, a rodeo, a fair, we can handle immense amount of traffic without slowing you down. So while I have this network map up, do you guys have any questions at all or any areas of concern that right now you're not getting coverage that you really need coverage?
Yeah, like down from, they call it the 6 mile down through there. They've had a lot of wrecks. They can't get out there. It's just to be going south of Phillipsburg, down through that cut, and then down at Bearmouth at 140 to like 145. I think it is.
Then the summer times at the lake, Georgetown Lake, there's a lot of drop calls in the summertime at Georgetown Lake.
And is Georgetown this one on the south of the county?
Yeah.
Yes, yeah. Verizon is looking at putting a new tower in, but that's been slow process.
Seems like their service is getting worse. Like last week there, it was on SOS for 2 solid days down by my shop in Drummond.
It,
License get worse.
yeah,
You had to drive all the way down to Bearmouth even to get out.
that happens a lot.
That's the biggest complaint. So I've covered Montana now for about 7 years. That's the biggest complaint I get about Verizon is Montana, you guys are running the same thing I'm running into here in Idaho, where everyone and their cousins are moving here. So where we have built out our network and added more spectrum, I haven't seen Verizon do the same. So you can have the same coverage, but with so many more people in those areas, it's a congestion issue and the network is failing. So I do have just north of the lake here, I have a Let me minimize this. I have a tower sitting there. Let me see how far it is away.
What's your rates compared to them?
Oh, at least 25% cheaper. So talking on the county side, for smartphones, you're looking at about 30 bucks a month for unlimited everything. It includes a free phone, a free iPhone 13 or Samsung S24, and you're able to upgrade those every 24 months.
Is that just county pricing or is that your general pricing?
That's counting pricing. For general pricing, you do get, I think it's a 25% discount. I can email back and get some rate and just shoot it to you. I don't deal too much in the personal line pricing. I know for first responder personal line pricing, you get 40% off all lines other than that first line. So even if you have like 7 lines out there, lines 2 through 7, you get 40% off of. So a lot of the first responders I deal with end up pulling over pretty quick because of it.
Are you pretty much just taking over Verizon then?
We're not taking over. I would say we are a huge competitor for Verizon. So where we're growing, and I'll tell you about kind of the cool thing we're doing here in just a minute. We're growing. I feel like we're growing faster than anybody else. So what happened was back in about 2021, we purchased Sprint. We merged with them. Sprint had all of this cellular spectrum, but they had no money to deploy it. T-Mobile had gobs and gobs of money, but we didn't have any spectrum. So when we got Sprint, we were able to deploy massive amounts of spectrum because we had those cash assets to really make things move. So, and just as a heads up, that lake is less than 6 miles away, and it looks like my signal propagates pretty well to it because I'm sitting here on the hill and then pushing down. So I would anticipate around that lake area specifically, depending on topography, of course, but especially around the beach area where it's going to be heavily populated with, people coming to vacation, you should be pretty solid there.
So where's your tower at again? Show me on the map. Oh, there it is.
Let me remove this pink so you can see a little bit better. On Rumsey.
So it's on Rumsey Mountain.
So it's on Rumsey, right next to it.
Okay.
So, and this site we have our 2500 megahertz. That one's more of our short-term 5G. It doesn't go as far, but it gives you crazy fast speeds. I was with the police chief the other week and I got 1.2 gigabytes on my device. And then this N600, this one is my favorite one. This is our signal that propagates farther than any of our other signal, and it's built into our 5G core.
You guys should do an advertising campaign in Georgetown because I think the people of Verizon are getting a lesser deal.
Yeah.
How many stores do you have? So if you need to go in, you got places that you can walk in and get stuff looked at? You're going to Verizon, hell, you can sit in there for 3 hours.
Well, just to be honest, that's kind of my experience with any cell phone store. What I encourage everyone to do that I work with, because I'm the government side, so any government issues I can help you out with. For the personal side, I have a peer. Her name's Margot, and she works remotely to handle all of your personal line stuff. So if you want an apples to apples comparison, if you want her to set you up with somebody, she can schedule all of that. But my favorite thing about her is if you ever have a store employee tell you misinformation and say they sock you with a $500 bill that you were not anticipating, Margot can take care of all of that stuff for you in about 3 hours. So you don't have to sit on a 1-800 number. You don't have to drive down to a store. She just does it for you. So she's my favorite thing since sliced bread with dealing with the personal line stuff.
How do I get her?
I can loop her in. So it looks like
We're talking about government right now.
Well, no, I think it was Billy who I was emailing about this. My assistant was. Yep. So Billy, what I'll do is I'll loop you in with Margot, and then feel free to shoot her information to anybody who's interested, and she can kind of give you an apples to apples on it and help with that personal line stuff.
Okay, thank you.
Mhm. And then just so you guys know as well, Raleigh County is going to be coming on board with us. I think the sheriff's office will be doing it within the month, probably in the next 4 weeks. I'm headed back out there to set them up. And then the county, the public works side is going to be following right after them. And then also Missoula County is one of my customers. They've been with me for quite a while. So I'm going to tell you about my favorite thing. This is one that I would encourage you to really, if I'm rambling on, this is the part that you really want to pay attention to, because this is the coolest thing we're doing. So does anybody in the group currently use Starlink for their home internet?
I don't know what the hell
My
that is.
sister-in-law does, and they're my next door neighbors on a ranch.
Yeah, we have neighbors who do as well.
Yeah. So, and the people who don't know Starlink, really what it is, I'm sure you've heard the name Elon Musk. He has a satellite company, and he also has a rocket company called SpaceX. So what they're doing is he has thousands and thousands of satellites in orbit. So if you want home internet, you can buy $600 satellite, it's just a little satellite, and then it costs you about 120 bucks a month, and you can get home internet through his satellite system. The people who use it swear by it. We actually use those Starlink satellite dishes as part of our emergency response team. So the last volcano they had erupt in Hawaii, we deployed a bunch of those Starlinks to help with their infrastructure for their cellular side. So what we're doing as a company with Starlink is we have an exclusive agreement with Starlink to cover the United States. So what we've done is we've given Starlink some of our cellular spectrum, and they're putting it on their satellites. So the roadmap for that is coming September, October of this year is the tentative timeline right now. The first step of that relationship will go live. That first step is for any T-Mobile smartphone, regardless of ground coverage, as long as you can see the sky, you'll be able to send and receive text messages. So what that really means to you is it doesn't matter if there's a cell tower 20 miles away or 100 miles away, as long as you can see the sky and you have a T-Mobile smartphone, you'll be able to text message to Verizon, to AT&T, to everybody. It's basically just going to be a roaming partner for us. So that one's going to be huge, but the big one that we're most excited about comes at the end of next year. At the end of next year, voice and data goes live on that. So by the end of 2025, you'll be able to call anywhere in the United States, and then you'll also be able to access data. So the initial beta speeds we're getting on this is about 17 megs. 17 megs is enough to hold a FaceTime video call. It's enough to send email attachments, and it's enough to send view videos on social media. So that's going to be available anywhere. So when looking at our map, you see those holes, especially in Granite County. It doesn't matter the provider, the topography just limits how much coverage we can do. That's going to all be pink. You'll be able to get coverage anywhere within the US. Any questions on that one? That one's kind of the cool one we have coming.
So can we get on Starlink now?
You can get a Starlink satellite dish for home internet. Now you can, correct. For it to be a roaming partner for T-Mobile, for no extra equipment, just you have a standard T-Mobile smartphone, that's coming in September, October.
So you don't need a Starlink account for that, right? Just a T-Mobile account?
Correct, because we actually gave them some of our cellular spectrum. So it's just good. Your phone's going to view it as a cell phone tower, as a roaming partner, and it will automatically roam onto that. But the use cases for it are kind of endless. So even if you think of your sheriff's office as they're responding to a call, or your fire department that's responding somewhere and they don't have coverage, all of their T-Mobile devices are automatically going to roam onto that Starlink network, and they'll still have coverage for both their laptops and their smartphones.
Is Verizon keeping up with that, or are they not?
Well, my personal opinion is I think T-Mobile was the smartest in this horse race. We're the only ones to partner with Starlink. Starlink is partnering with about 5 other carriers worldwide to provide this service outside of the US, but we have the exclusive agreement for the US. AT&T is partnering with a company called ATS. And I think I read an article in the last couple of weeks that Verizon is doing the same. ATS only has a handful of satellites in the sky, and they have to launch their satellites through SpaceX, which is Elon Musk. So with SpaceX satellites being in the thousands, I really feel we have the big lead in that race. So that one's honestly, that partnership is the main reason I jumped ship over here, because I feel like that specifically in the Pacific Northwest, where we have the rugged terrain, that's going to make the big difference for us. So just to give you an idea here, just because there was a question about rate plans. These are our different smartphone rate plans for all government. So commissioners would qualify for this, public works for the county would qualify, and for the city. Our rate plan is the most popular one, is what I'm highlighting, is $30 a month. It gives you unlimited everything, 51 gigabytes of hotspot, roaming in Canada and Mexico. You get free in-flight texting and data with that as well, which has been a big one for me. And then you get a free iPhone 13 or a free Samsung S24.
So that would be if Granite County switched their government phones from Verizon to T-Mobile, that would be
Correct.
your price.
Correct. Yep.
So this is your proposal that you will send to us, or do we?
Correct. Yep. And this one makes it easy. I prefer to do it this way because you don't have any shared data. There's no data pools. Everything's just unlimited and it's per line. So it doesn't matter if you do 5 of these or 500, it will all be about $30 a pop.
Nice.
Can you let us do a test? Like,
of course,
let the road superintendent have one for a month and see how it works?
Yeah. Yeah, I can send you. So I have a whole demo warehouse full of smartphones, tablets, and routers. I can send you whatever you want for 30 days. We can test. If the testing doesn't go great, it's not a big deal. You just ship it back to me, and then we pin a time in the future where maybe I have the Starlink partnership go live, and I can resend you whatever you want.
Just thinking that I think it's cheaper than what they're doing right now when it's unlimited.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
It's
so just
way cheaper.
making sure it works
Yeah.
in the area. The satellite stuff is
He
the
should do a
future.
meanwhile.
Yeah. Well,
Give us all.
so we've got some yahoos in here that want it personally. Would they call T-Mobile 1-800 to maybe sign up?
Yeah.
They'll send me Marco.
I'll get Marco.
Yeah, you'll want to talk to Margot, which I'll shoot you her information. I would encourage you just to go through Margot because she can do a quick phone call. You don't have to drive anywhere. You don't have to wait on hold. She can just knock it all out for you and you can see how it works. But yeah, I can send you a demo device of an iPhone and Android. I can even send you a router if you want to play with that one as well. Just kind of whatever works best for you. So these ones are our public works. For the sheriff's office and the fire department, our rate plans differ a little bit. So with the first responder one, I'll highlight the most popular one again. This one gives you unlimited everything, 41 gigabytes of hotspot, again, roaming in Canada and Mexico. You get the free in-flight stuff. We do include a global package with all of our devices as well. This one gives you a free iPhone 13 at that $29 price point. I'll show you this one. So with your sheriff's office, do you guys run any like in-vehicle routers?
I know they have in-vehicle like computer, like laptops, so I'm assuming they have something.
Okay.
So
So
the sheriff's office, you'd probably want to talk directly to the sheriff.
Yeah.
He does his own thing.
Gotcha. Well, I'll sidestep that one. But this is one of the last things I'll tell you, and then I've hogged everything. I'll let my peers introduce themselves really quick. Sorry, I drank about 4 cups of coffee, so it's it's 90 miles an hour for me. But T-Mobile was the last of the big three to add in priority and preemption to our network. This priority and preemption is going to apply to the first responders, but it also applies to any county employee as well. So Public Works falls within that, Recreation Department, any of that. What we did was we partnered with CISA and DHS on this. CISA actually, really, they honestly paid us to build this priority system, and they came through and tested it afterwards. But we have a priority and preemption code that goes to all of your smartphones and then data devices. So what that really means for you is at all times, all of your government employees would have the highest form of priority in our network. And we also give you preemption. So we talked about that lake earlier. If you're responding to something down there, if you're performing maintenance down there and you have a bunch of tourists sitting in that area pulling from that same tower, there's a lot of times like what you're experiencing with Verizon where the network just kind of kicks you off because there's so many people. Well, with our priority and preemption, we'll actually remove non-priority users from that tower to give you the throughput that you need. And in the event that that's not even necessary, you still have the highest form of priority on our network at all times. And that applies to both your voice devices as well as your data devices as well.
That's cool.
So no cost for it. We partner with WPS, Wireless Priority Service. So we automatically enroll you in WPS, which is the carrier agnostic priority service for phone calls. We just do that hand in hand to give you the priority and preemption on our network as well. So
your phone number, your phone number that you have, your current phone number, can you bring it with you?
Of course.
Yeah.
Easy. So what I'll do, I'm going to kick it over to my counterpart, and then I'll just circle back and then just talk about how we would do the demos really quick. And other than that, I think I'm done. So thank you for the time. Jay, do you mind kind of giving an intro on what makes you so sparkly, my friend?
Thanks, Jason. I appreciate you. Everybody hear me okay?
Yeah.
Hello, everyone. I'm Jay Whiteman. I'm one of the new public safety consultants for T-Mobile. So the other thing, on top of all the other things that Jason's already talked about, you know, as you can see, T-Mobile really has rolled the red carpet out for first responders. You know, not only with first responder plans that you can sign up for personally, and please tell all your first responder friends there and Henry about it. There's some great discounts, but again, they can also sign up for that WPS service on their personal phones as well, which is huge. And then, you know, with Starlink, you know, you pretty much have a direct satellite to cell sat phone that is not there yet, but it's coming. I was compelled to join the team earlier this year. I retired from law enforcement just last year. I'm a retired police sergeant. And they're standing us up all over the country to just work with first responders. So I'm your partner with Jason for Idaho, Montana. I am based in Oregon, but you know, I'm born and raised in the Pacific Northwest as well. I actually have family right next to you over there in the Hamilton, Corvallis area in Ravalli County. So I've been visiting Montana since I was just a kid. So I'm really excited to be first responder, be a partner with Jason, but also be an advocate for all your first responders that protect your communities out there. Please feel free. Jason will probably share my contact info, but yeah, if you want to pass that on to your sheriff and your local police chief there as well, appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, Jay. Hey, Casey, do you mind? Do you have a second to tell them you're amazing?
Yeah, man. I got it. You don't have to go into it and build me up. I'm good. So my name's Casey Meilenberg. I am probably the tenured guy on this team. I've been with T-Mobile Sprint Nextel for the last 20 years. I started off in Jason's role and back in about 2005, 2004 timeframe. And then I moved over to the network team where I managed the West region for their emergency response team. So I was responsible for setting up all the temporary infrastructure that you see out there during wildfires, hurricanes, presidential inaugurations, and all that stuff. And kind of what Jason talked to over in Maui when we set up about 80 Starlink dishes and other geosynchronous satellite systems to get our cell sites back up online out there. So that was my responsibility for about 12 years of my career as well. Last year, I came over to be a solution engineer to help the sales team not only discuss our network, our capabilities, and facilitate that, but also introduce to our customers solutions that allow them to have a secure network, such as our SASE solution. We've also have discussions about fleet management, so Geotab, how do we track that type of stuff over the cellular network, fixed wireless internet, so that those branch offices out there remote that might have 20 or less workers at, how can we reduce their fixed wireless internet services? Those type of solutions, along with IoT. So how do we ensure that we have a control center build that gives you a platform to be able to manage things like video cameras, door sensors, thermometers, that type of stuff that's coming out with the 5G technology coming up. And so that's a little bit of my responsibility to be able to ensure that we're helping meet your communication needs and be able to provide you better situational awareness, whether it's with your fleet, our sensors, or videos out in your community.
Thank you, Casey.
You're welcome.
And just so you guys know, Casey lives down the street from me, so I lean on him quite a bit. So in regards to the demo devices, I'm not sure what will work best. I can send an email to you, Billy, and then you can push it to whoever's interested in that. I can also take your information now and get the demo ordered, whatever works best for the group.
Yeah, if you want to send me an email and I can kind of figure out with the commissioners who you want to demo what and talk to the sheriff, and then we can kind of work in tandem.
Perfect. Awesome. Well, I appreciate you guys' time. Any last questions that I can help out with before I go sit by the pool?
Thank you, Jason.
Yeah,
Oh,
thank
we have
you.
a comment from Elena. Go ahead, Elena.
Thank you, Elena Gagliano. I have more questions. Jason, I want to thank you. This was an excellent presentation. It cleared up a lot of questions we are having, especially now. And I am going to be interested in hearing from Margot or contacting her, definitely. Right now, we're in the process, Blackfoot, and I noticed that back in 2017, Blackfoot was teaming up with T-Mobile regarding connecting cell sites. And right now, Blackfoot is replacing all the copper with fiber optics. And I heard something that eventually our land phones, which we all have land phones, even the government, are going to be done with. So, okay, you're shaking your hand, so I guess that is true.
It is.
And so I'm doing Blackfoot. We mostly do Blackfoot for computer, internet, and also telephone. So don't have a smartphone, but I'm thinking of it. And so that's why I'd like to discuss it. But you're shaking your head, so that's true. We're not going to have land phones anymore.
Yeah, actually, just to give you a little background, if you guys have paid attention to the news, AT&T was going to disconnect all the copper lines in the state of California. And the government had to step in and extend the time that AT&T is going to operate copper lines. And that's happening nationwide, where you start seeing your plain old telephone systems, POTS. So your elevators, your security systems, your desk phones, fax machines, all that stuff is not going to be able to be operational on copper lines anymore. And not only that, but you're starting to see the federal government for years has actually given us the capability to have discounted pricing to keep copper prices down low. Now you're seeing in some areas where copper pricing for analog devices just absolutely skyrocket. I was talking to a city in Washington the other day where they're paying $200 a month for elevator lines. because it's connected to copper. And so what we did is we actually transferred them over. T-Mobile has POTS replacement routers where we can come in and for about $15 per line and $8 a month. So it's about 20 bucks, somewhere in there per line. We can attach those old desk phones and security and elevator and fire systems into a router that connects to the internet. So you don't have to completely disable them. You just have to get a different solution. And that's what I'm here is to help you guys navigate that as older technology is getting pushed into the newer technology. I can help you guys fill that gap.
And Casey, you're more government also, right?
Yes, I am. Yep.
Okay. Again, thank you guys. I mean, it's
Yep.
really great you doing this. Most of the numbers here are 859. Those are the land phone numbers. We probably won't be able to keep the telephone numbers, right?
No, you can keep them. It's a little bit more of a process with landlines. They hold on to them for, I think the time frame they give us is about 30 days for them to release it, but you can hold on to that phone number.
Okay, thank you so much. And I too would be interested in talking to Margot. So
yeah,
if you can send it. Thank you all. I appreciate it.
Yeah, and the one thing I didn't mention, and this goes countywide, similar to what Elena was saying, copper is going away. So a lot of my public entities are moving to more of a VoIP solution, voice over IP, voice over your data side. I do have a handful of different providers that do that we partner with. They're pretty price competitive to what is out there. So just if it does come up in discussions, more than happy to do some introductions to those vendors that can help, paint a roadmap for you.
Thank you.
Of course. So other than that, I'll get an email sent out to you, Billy. I'll have Jay and Casey copied on there, and I'll pull in Margot as well. So if the email will have my contact information, feel free to reach out if there's any questions or if I didn't cover something you guys wanted to discuss.
Wonderful. Thank you, Jason.
Thanks, guys. Happy Tuesday. Hope you have a great day.
You too. Thanks.
Thanks.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, guys.
Okay, that was our last agenda item. And we are now adjourned